Chapter 368. Yanwang University, somewhere in the training hall. At this time, many people gathered together. Among them, a fatty was very conspicuous and had become the focus of the crowd. He was Feng Hetong. Brother Feng, is what you said true? I heard that you are very familiar with the recently famous demon Xiaoping. A student looked at Feng Hetong curiously. The other students also looked at Feng Hetong. They were very curious about Xiaoping because Xiaoping's recent achievements were too exaggerated. He had simply swept the entire Yanwang University Martial Arts Club. Even some of the older students who had been studying for a few years were not his match. They were easily beaten down. Now, many students were simply jittery. It was not an exaggeration to say that Xiaoping's reputation in Yanwang University had reached the level of a child crying. Of course, to be honest, I am Brother Xia's #1 follower. We are very close. In order to curry favor with him, I even gave him a kiss. Feng Hetong bragged. Since Xia Ping swept hundreds of martial arts clubs and defeated countless opponents, he established his position in Yanwang University. As his #1 follower, Feng Hetong's status also rose. Even when he came out for training, a group of people curiously flattered him, which made him very happy. What the hell? A group of students was dumbfounded. They felt that there was a lot of information in Feng Hetong's words. Everyone's mouth twitched as they looked at Feng Hetong strangely. Brother Feng, it seems that you and Xiaoping are really familiar with each other. I've already kissed him. This relationship is proper. Sorry, Brother Feng. I looked down on you before. I didn't expect you to have such a close relationship with such a big shot. It really makes people look at you in a different light. It's admirable that you can bow and submit. Many students were full of admiration. In order to curry favor with a big shot, he could do this kind of thing. With this kind of spirit, many people could not do it. You are too polite. It's not that I can bow and submit. It's just that my respect for Big Brother is like the endless waves of the river. It's also like the flood of the Yellow River. Feng Hetong waved his hand. No matter what I do for Big Brother, I am willing. But I've been low-key and have not said anything. I hope that no one will spread this news and think that I'm a greedy and vain person. He pretended to be very low-key. The mouths of the students twitched. This was the first time they had seen such a shameless person. He was definitely one of a kind. Stop bragging here. One of the students was very unhappy with Feng Hetong's bragging and sneered. Even if that Xiaoping's martial arts strength is a bit strong, his character is not good. His morals are low, and he is contemptible. Just because of that, I looked down on him. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Everyone else looked over. They all recognized that this student was from the Kendo Club. He had been beaten up by Xiaoping and had to lie in a hospital for 3 days to recover. Naturally, he hated Xiaoping. Hearing this, Feng Hetong gave him a sidelong glance. Oh, what's wrong with my big brother? What's wrong with my character? Didn't you see what he did? The student jumped out and cursed. I don't care if he challenges the major martial arts clubs. This is his right. But after he defeated the major clubs, he even stole their plaques. This is like breaking into someone's house to destroy and steal their property. If this is not a robber, what is a robber? He characterized Xiaoping's behavior as a robber's behavior and a criminal action. Bullshit. Feng Hetong shouted angrily. My big brother went to your martial arts club to challenge. It was a sightseeing tour, a tour to educate you on how to practice martial arts so that you could increase your knowledge. None of you know how to be grateful. Instead, you think that my big brother is destroying things. Do you know what shame is? As for taking away your club's plaque, it was taking away local specialties as a souvenir. Tell me, is it too much to go to a place to travel and take away some local specialties by the way? His spittle flew, and he was filled with righteous indignation. The student went crazy. Beating them half to death was not to destroy things, but to teach them martial arts cultivation. Taking away their club's plaque was taking away local specialties. Even if you want to distort the truth, there should be a limit. He was so angry that he thought the fat man was too shameless. As expected, he was in cahoots with Xiaoping. Bullshit. Feng Hetong jumped up like an elephant raising its trunk. With a loud bang, he punched out, instantly sending the student flying. He was knocked out on the spot, and half of his face was swollen. I, Feng Hatong, hate this kind of people who like to distort the truth and slander my big brother. They all have no morals, etiquette, or integrity. They speak with their conscience and don't know if they have any persistence in justice. Feng Hatong said righteously after knocking out the Kendo Club student with a sneak attack. Brother Feng, you are right. This kind of people are like this. They have no conscience and only care about their own interests. Isn't that right? These students of the martial arts club are all hypocrites. You don't know how dirty their hearts are, but I've seen through them. They want to hurt the enemy maliciously when they are no match for him in a fight. This kind of people is despicable. I am ashamed to be associated with them. The students next to him came forward one by one to flatter him. It seems that there are still some righteous people in this world. There is still some hope for the world. It has not been led astray by evil. Feng Hatong nodded with satisfaction. Some of the students of the martial arts club were going crazy, and their hearts were about to explode with anger. A bastard who suddenly launched a sneak attack had the cheek to talk about propriety, justice, honor, and justice. Anyone could say something like that, except for this damn fatty. What's wrong? You all look very unconvinced. Believe it or not, I will immediately ask my big brother to come out and teach you how to practice. If I can't beat you up, I will change my surname to yours. Feng Hatong squinted at them and was very domineering. His eyes were on his forehead. What? Some martial arts club members were immediately scared to death and lowered their heads. If Xiaoping came to make trouble, they would be in trouble and have to stay in the hospital for a few days. Brother Feng, don't bother with these idiots. That's right. I wonder when Brother Feng can let me meet Brother Xia. I have admired Brother Xia for a long time. If Brother Xia summons us, we will come immediately. Yes, if Brother Xia can set up an organization, we will be duty-bound to join it. A group of students shouted. Set up an organization? Feng Hatong rolled his eyes and immediately had an idea. He said, this is easy. To tell you the truth, my big brother has long wanted to set up a martial arts club, hoping to dominate Yanhuang University. If you all join, it will be a success. Chapter 369. The next morning, the sun was shining brightly. At this time, Xiaoping was sitting in the quiet room of the villa. An inexplicable force pervaded the quiet room, as if the air was vibrating. His clothes seemed to be fluttering without any wind, and his heart was beating like a war drum. Bang! At this moment, the genuine qi in Xiaoping's body reached its peak, boiling like lava. Immediately, an acupoint in his body was opened, and he had finally opened the 9th acupoint. Martial artist, 9th heaven realm. Walala, a large amount of genuine qi flowed into the 9th acupoint, like a river flowing into the sea. The meridians in his body were shaking, and the genuine qi was surging like water, containing terrifying power. At this moment, under the effect of the pure yang immortal art, the genuine qi in his body was quickly transformed into the power of genuine essence, turning into a dark red liquid, settling in the depths of his dantian. Finally promoted to the martial artist 9th heaven realm. Xiaoping opened his eyes, revealing a trace of terrifying light. There seemed to be a flame spinning in the depths of his pupils, with terrible destructive power. He felt that the strength of his body and the genuine qi were more than 50% stronger than before, and even his mental strength had been greatly tempered, becoming more tyrannical. After 3 weeks of cultivation, he constantly challenged other martial arts clubs, fought hundreds of battles, and completely refined the energy of the profound Yin pill and the 9-turn essence enhancing pill. Finally, he accumulated enough genuine qi to break through to the martial artist 9th heaven realm. His 9 acupoints were filled with majestic genuine qi, reaching the realm of 9-turn essence enhancing pill. The genuine qi in the 9 acupoints was constantly rotating, condensing into one, growing and multiplying endlessly. This was the peak power of the martial artist realm. The 8th heaven realm was completely different from the 9th heaven realm. Whether it was the speed of genuine qi recovery or the amount of genuine qi, it was not comparable to the 8th heaven realm. His strength had more than doubled, and only after reaching the ninth heaven realm could he truly touch a trace of the mystery of the martial master realm. The power of genuine essence has also transformed a lot. Xiaoping closed his eyes, and his mental strength permeated every part of his body. He felt that the genuine qi in the depths of his dantian was slowly transforming into genuine essence. The power of this genuine essence was even greater than before. If before, he could only make a martial master level attack containing the power of flames, but now he could make 10 punches, which was 10 times stronger. Moreover, the speed at which his vital energy was converted into vital essence was also greatly increasing. He was improving with every passing moment. If he could convert all the quintessence in his body into quintessence after a period of time, then he would truly be a martial master and become an elite student of Yanhuang University, raising his status. Once he became a martial master and an elite student, he would have a meteoric rise. Even if he dropped out of school now and returned to Yanhuang Star, he would still be able to become a general. Kill! Xiaoping took a step forward and thrust out a finger. A dark red, true essence burst out, condensing into essence in midair. It was as if a flame was burning space, possessing an unparalleled destructive power. Dong! This finger easily pierced through the titanium alloy wall in front of him. The terrifying flames burned it, as if it was piercing through tofu. The metal above was melted and dripped down. The sunlight outside shone through the hole and onto the ground. This is the power of a martial artist at the ninth heaven. It's really tyrannical, but the ninth acupoint is too big. Xiaoping clenched his fists and felt the tyrannical genuine qi gushing out of his body. He was a little emotional about his attack power. Even if he encountered a real martial master at the first heaven, he would not be afraid of the other party. However, he immediately discovered that the ninth acupoint was extremely huge. The genuine qi it could hold was twice as much as the previous 8 acupoints combined. If he wanted to completely fill the ninth acupoint with genuine qi, it would probably take more effort and absorb more energy. Moreover, Xiaoping had been cultivating the pure yang immortal art, constantly expanding his acupoints. The genuine qi he could hold was probably more than 10 times larger than that of an ordinary martial artist, which required more cultivation resources. If it was an ordinary martial artist, it would take at least 3 or 4 years to slowly absorb the essence of heaven and earth to have a chance to reach the peak of the ninth heaven of the martial artist realm and obtain the opportunity to break through to the martial master realm. However, Xiaoping now had a total of 160,000 points. Naturally, he could buy the best quality medicinal pills that could quickly increase genuine qi in the school, saving a lot of cultivation time. This was the benefit of having money. Others were still cultivating hard and working hard to absorb the spirit qi of heaven and earth. But if you had money, eating a medicinal pill would be comparable to years of cultivation for others. The gap was so big. In this world, the rich get richer and the strong get stronger. I want to buy 15 Dragon Tiger Rui pills. Thinking of this, Xiaoping immediately logged into the Yanhuang University's shopping mall website and immediately bought 15 Dragon Tiger Rui pills. Once the order was placed, someone would soon come to deliver the pills. It was extremely convenient. However, such pills were extremely expensive. One was worth 10,000 points. However, Xiaoping still bought it because it contained extremely abundant energy. With the power of the dragon and tiger, it could greatly speed up the genuine qi cultivation of the martial artist realm. In this way, he only had 10,000 points left, which was temporarily used for emergencies. By the way, I wonder how much hatred I've gained during this period of time. Xiaoping also suddenly remembered that he had been causing trouble these days. He did not know how many people he had provoked and estimated that he would gain a lot of hatred. Beep. Sensing Xiaoping's thoughts, the system immediately replied, "Congratulations to the host. This time, you have aroused the anger of Yanhuang University. You have gained a total of 400,000 hatred points. Plus the previous ones, you have a total of 850,000 hatred points. 850,000 hatred points? Xiaoping's eyes showed a glimmer of light. He remembered the previous system prompt. After getting 1,000,000 hatred points, he could get a big gift bag provided by the system. There were endless benefits in it. And the distance to 1,000,000 hatred points was only 150,000 away, which was not a lot. It's a pity that I still need 150,000 hatred points. Xiaoping was a little regretful. He thought that this action should be able to reach 1,000,000 hatred points, but he didn't expect it to be a little short. But this was also normal. Although Xiaoping's action caused public anger, not everyone hated him. Some people felt that he was unforgivable, while others thought that he was a hero. And even if his behavior is very inappropriate, causing trouble everywhere, it is not enough to make people have killing intent to the extent that they will not rest until they die. So it is not bad to get 400,000 hate points. Beep! Suddenly, a message from the school came from Xiaoping's smartwatch. With a snap, he opened it and took a look. The Cloud and Mist Mountain Range will open in 3 days. Students who intend to register, please log on to the school's homepage website, submit information, and review the registration. Chapter 370. Cloud Mountain Range? Is it finally going to open? Xiaoping clenched his fists and was excited. Over the past few weeks, he had learned a lot about the Cloud Mountain Range. Although it was a mountain range, it was actually an alternate dimension. The spiritual energy in the world was rich, and it could be said to be an undeveloped, primitive treasure land. A large number of natural treasures grew there, and each of them was worth a fortune. Many martial artists would go crazy for them, especially the Water of Life, which contained a large amount of life energy. If a martial artist consumed it, it would immediately increase his life potential and help him break through to the martial master realm. It was a treasure that could not be bought even with money. Of course, the Cloud Mountain Range was also very dangerous. There were many powerful monsters. If one was not careful, he would become the food of those monsters and die a horrible death. Sign up now. Without hesitation, Xiaoping immediately logged into the school's homepage and filled in his details to register for the mission to the Cloud Mountain Range. Ding! At this moment, a web page popped up from the smartwatch and a mechanical voice was heard. To sign up for the Cloud Mountain Range, we need to test your martial arts cultivation. Please stand in front of the web page for our inspection. Xiaoping nodded and immediately stood in front of the web page. Immediately, a beam of blue light was projected from the web page. From top to bottom, it seemed to have seen through all the mysteries of Xiaoping's martial arts and examined the circulation of his meridians. A few seconds later, the mechanical voice was heard again. Test passed. Freshman Xiaoping has advanced to the 9th heaven of martial artist and meets the requirements to enter the Cloud Mountain Range. Registration successful. 3 days later, please gather at the entrance of Yanhuang University and board the warship to the Cloud Mountain Range. With a snap, the web page closed automatically after saying this sentence. Success. Xiaoping clenched his fists and smiled. He originally thought that he would have to pay tens of thousands of points. However, after advancing to the 9th heaven of martial artist, he met the requirements and did not need to pay any fees. Ding dong! Suddenly, a bell rang outside the villa. It's Feng Hetong? But what's going on? Why are there so many people outside? Xiaoping had a strange expression because he saw the surveillance video outside the villa. Not only did Feng Hetong appear, but many other students also appeared. These students were all dressed in black suits and black leather shoes. Their hair was slicked back and waxed, so smooth that even ants would slide off them. Their entire bodies exuded a valiant aura. All of them looked like gangsters, except for the baseball bats, machetes, and other lethal weapons in their hands. With a bang, the door of the villa opened. Xiaoping walked to the door, wanting to see what was going on. Why did Feng Hetong bring a bunch of hoodlums here? Big brother. Seeing Xiaoping appear, Feng Hetong immediately cried out in surprise. He then turned his head and shouted to the group of lackeys behind him. What are you still doing here? Hurry up and greet Big Brother. He was very angry that his subordinates did not know the rules. Hello, Big Brother. Hearing this, the group of subordinates behind him, numbering close to 1,000 in number, all shouted in unison. They lowered their heads in unison, and their voices reverberated through the air. Everyone within a 10-kilometer radius could hear them. Some of the students in the nearby dormitories also popped their heads out, thinking that something big had happened and were watching the commotion nearby. Big brother? What the hell is going on? The corner of Xiaoping's mouth twitched as he looked at Feng Hetong. Why did he suddenly have a group of burdensome lackeys? Feng Hetong immediately said, Big brother, these people have heard of Big Brother's fame and worship you very much. They all want to follow Big Brother and hope that Big Brother can help them. I see that these people are very sincere, so I reluctantly accepted them as Big Brother and lackeys. We want to establish a martial arts club in Yanwang University in the future and dominate. He revealed a face of excitement. Yes, Big Brother, accept us as your lackeys. We can't do anything else, but we are the best at bullying people and causing trouble everywhere. Big Brother, we have always admired you. If you're willing to accept us as your lackeys, even if we are your lackeys, it's not a problem. On this issue, we already have a certain level of awareness and are unafraid of death. Big Brother, accept us. Even if Big Brother likes women, we can wear women's clothes every day in the future. A group of lackeys shouted, showing a look of generosity at any time and place. Hearing these words, Xiaoping's mouth twitched. He didn't know where these bastards heard these strange rumors. They actually wanted to help him. It was too exaggerated. Was there something wrong with these bastards' brains? However, the motive of these people wanting to be his lackeys was not simple. They also wanted to dominate Yanhuang University, bully people, and cause trouble. No matter how he looked at it, they wanted to find a sucker to cover them and then make it convenient for them to do all kinds of bad things. But perhaps this was an opportunity. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. If it was an ordinary person, they would definitely not be willing to do such a stupid thing and accept a group of burdens. However, he was not an ordinary person. He had a super hatred system. The more enemies he had, the more hatred he had, and the stronger he was. If he was alone in attracting hatred, the speed was too slow. If he formed an organization and let a group of lackeys help him attract hatred, wouldn't that be a lot of money? Okay, I can accept you, Xiaoping immediately said. Suddenly, a group of lackeys, including Feng Hetong, felt very surprised. They did not expect Xiaoping to agree so easily. They were originally prepared to be rejected. But the number of people in our organization is still too small. Xiaoping changed the topic. So, I need you to attract more people to join our martial arts organization. No matter what means you use, you must attract them. He gave these people an order. Attract more people? How many people do you need, Big Brother? Feng Hetong was stunned. Xiaoping said carelessly, the more the better. The more the better? But by doing so, won't it make our martial arts organization a mess of crooks and honest folk? Feng Hetong and others were a little confused. After all, which martial arts organization did not implement the elite policy? If you want to join, you must meet certain conditions and have noble character. You must go through 2 or 3 examinations and repeated checks. Otherwise, you are not qualified at all. But now, listening to Xiaoping, it seemed that there were no conditions at all. Any cat or dog could join. What do you know? What I want is a mixture of good and bad people. What I want is a foul atmosphere. Xiaoping looked at Feng Hetong with disdain. If they were all well-behaved members and never stirred up trouble, he wouldn't have attracted any hatred. Well, whatever Big Brother says. Feng Hetong did not care why Xiaoping did this. Anyway, his Big Brother's words were right. By the way, I wonder what our martial arts organization should be called. Chapter 371. Many black-clothed men appeared around Yanhuang University. These people were handing out flyers everywhere. They're recruiting. The Pingtian Gate is recruiting. If you miss this village, there won't be a shop like this anymore. If you don't join now, you'll have to wait 3 years. 3 years, then 3 years. That's 6 years. It'll be too late for regrets. The people in black shouted and called the students passing by to join the Pingtian Gate. They were very enthusiastic. Pingtian Gate? What martial art club is this? A student who did not know what was going on asked curiously. Feng Hetong immediately went forward and said, "This is a newly established martial arts club. It's strong and has amazing potential. The president is Yinhuang University's #1 expert, Xiaoping. If you join now, you'll be a first-generation member. There will be many benefits and endless benefits. Xiaoping. The student screamed and immediately clenched his teeth. Is it that bully Xiaoping? That B** starred injured so many members of the club and sent so many of my friends to the hospital. I hate him to the core. That B** starred actually wants me to join this SH*TTY club. He must be dreaming. He was so angry that his teeth were itching. He had been beaten by Xiaoping before, so the memory was still fresh. That's right. We won't join this bully club. What a joke. There are so many martial arts clubs in Yinhuang University. Why would they join a newly established club like yours? Don't think that you can do whatever you want in Yinhuang University just because you have the title of #1 expert. We won't join just because we said we won't join. That's how it is. Bite us if you can. The students sneered again and again. They were quite disgusted with Xiaoping. It was simply impossible for them to join the martial arts club established by Xiaoping. Many students even threw the flyers on the ground, stomped on them, and spat on them, as if they wanted to vent their anger. Many students looked at the people from the Pingtian gate mockingly, mocking them. Feng Hetong and the others advertised for a long time in Yinhuang University, but it was to no avail. Even if some people wanted to join, they were dissuaded by the people around them. After all, Xiaoping's reputation was too bad. Many people looked down on him. Brother, we can't do it anymore. We've been promoting outside for a long time, but no one wants to join. They're all short-sighted people. I look down on them. Feng Hetong once again returned to Xiaoping's villa with a look of indignation. That's right. It's their honor to be protected by Big Brother. How dare they look down on it? They don't know how to appreciate favors. I'm so angry when I see them. I want to punch them. All the lackeys were filled with righteous indignation and were extremely unhappy. Why do we have to advertise it? Xiaoping blinked his eyes. Feng Hetong was stunned. Big Brother, if we don't advertise, how will those people join? What's the purpose of our club? To put it simply, it's to bully men and take women and do all kinds of evil. Xiaoping was exasperated. You actually want to promote it? Are you kidding me? If you like someone, you can just rob them. If they don't agree, you can threaten, beat, blackmail, or kidnap them. After that, you can make them join you willingly. Even if he's not willing at first, he'll be willing after a few more beatings. He put forward his proposal. Big Brother, is that even possible? Feng Hetong and the rest were dumbfounded. However, they had to admit that if those students were beaten a few times, they would probably agree willingly if they didn't want to die. Why not? In ancient times, there was a bandit faction called the Yellow Turban Army. When they swept through the world, they crazily plundered refugees and forced them to join the Yellow Turban Army. In a short year, their numbers grew to over 1 million, becoming one of the few forces in the world. Xiaoping sighed. With the bronze mirror as a mirror, one can dress properly. With people as a mirror, one can know the gains and losses. With history as a mirror, one can know the rise and fall. These are all lessons learned from the mistakes of the past. Have you not learned anything? Big Brother, why did I hear that the Yellow Turban Army was destroyed? Feng Hetong and the rest's mouths twitched. They felt that the Yellow Turban Army did not have a good ending. That's because their boss is useless. He's a good-for-nothing. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back and said in disdain, if they had the world's #1 expert as their commander, they would be invincible and seize the throne. Fortunately, you have me as your boss. That's why you can dominate Yinhuang University. Do you understand? He looked at Feng Hetong and others. Understood, Big Brother. We'll do it now. If someone doesn't join, we'll beat them until they join. Many of the younger brothers shouted. However, sometimes the means do not necessarily rely on violence. There can also be fraud. This is the so-called carrot and stick approach. Xiaoping changed the topic. He also taught Feng Hetong and others some of the MLM methods of his previous life on Earth. This is a supreme weapon to develop and strengthen forces. It can be said to be successful. In a place like Yinhuang Planet, such means have not appeared yet. Once it does, it will definitely cause great destruction. Oh my God, Big Brother, you are too insidious. Such a despicable and shameless scheme. Why didn't I think of it? Big Brother is really cunning. You are so bad that you're oozing pus. You are a natural liar. I am a little afraid of being cheated by Big Brother. If Big Brother does something illegal, I guarantee that he will definitely be the world's most wanted criminal. I don't know how many people will be displaced and their families destroyed. How much psychology has he mastered, and how many people's hearts have he toyed with to come up with such a method? When Big Brother was on Yin Huang planet, did he also cheat women like this? With such a method, no matter how many women there are, they have to obediently surrender and give birth to Big Brother's children. However, after Big Brother said this, I suddenly became enlightened. In this way, why should we worry about our Pingtian sect not growing stronger? In the future, we will be the elders of the Pingtian sect. We can definitely dominate Yanhuang University. I knew that if I follow Big Brother, I will definitely be able to live well and reach the peak of life. After listening to Xia Ping's words, Feng Hatong and others were filled with emotions. The way they looked at Xia Ping changed. They were incomparably worshipping him. One by one, they stepped forward to flatter him. The corner of Xia Ping's mouth twitched. Why did he feel that these words were not flattery, but contempt for him? However, he did not pursue this matter. He immediately said, "Okay, don't talk nonsense here. Hurry up and strengthen our Pingtian sect. I want the Pingtian sect to become the #1 martial arts club in Yanhuang University." He gave these people his orders. Yes, Big Brother. Feng Hatong and others shouted one by one, excited. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Chapter 372. After getting Xia Ping's plan, Feng Hatong and the others were like locusts, pulling people from all over the school. They used all kinds of despicable methods, pulling everyone into the Pingtian sect regardless of their aptitude. If they didn't agree, they would drag them to a corner and beat them up until they agreed. In just 2 days, the Pingtian sect had grown 20 to 30 times its original size. It had grown from a small group of 1,000 people to 30,000. It could be said to be the largest martial arts club in Yanhuang University. Regardless of the overall strength of the club, just the number of people was definitely the largest in Yanhuang University. After all, there were only 200,000 people in each grade in Yanhuang University, and there were 4 grades in total. At most, there were 800,000 people, and some of them had become elite students. Therefore, the scale of 30,000 people was definitely huge. This operation also shocked the other martial arts clubs. They were all dumbfounded. They had no idea how the Pingtian sect had developed so quickly. One had to know that clubs like the Kendo Club, Fist Club, and Blade Club had hundreds of years of history. They had gone through all kinds of hardships to reach their current scale, but the Pingtian sect had caught up to them in just a few days. This was too exaggerated and unimaginable. Amazing. Why is the Pingtian sect so amazing? Tens of thousands of people have joined in just a few days. This is unbelievable. Even veteran clubs like the Kendo Club haven't attracted so many people after developing in Yanhuang University for so many years. It's really too strange. It's unbelievable. Does that bastard Xia Ping really have such great charisma? How many people follow him when he calls for help? Everyone was discussing this on the forum. They were all extremely shocked by this matter. In just 2 days, the Pingtian sect had become the #1 club in Yanhuang University. It was terrifying. The martial arts club members were even more grieved. Now, not only had their president been beaten up by Xia Ping, but even their club was being oppressed by that bastard. Wouldn't that mean that this fellow would have to ride on their heads and act like a tyrant in the future, defecating and peeing? Charisma my ass. A student scolded online. Those people from the Pingtian sect are shameless to the extreme. Do you know how they recruit members? To put it simply, it's just 5 words: swindling and beating. What exactly is the meaning of this? The group of people were incomparably gossipy, extremely curious about the inside story. The student shouted, "What else could it mean? Those bastards from the Pingtian sect have set up stalls on the major commercial streets of Yanhuang University, selling pills. They say they can buy 1 and get 10 free. We were so excited when we heard this news. You can even buy 1 and get 10 free. Isn't this a pie falling from the sky? It would be stupid not to seize such an opportunity, so we all came forward to buy the pills. However, the other party took out a form and asked us to fill it out. They said that if we want to buy the pills, we must become a member of their shop. At that time, we didn't suspect anything and just wrote it down. We thought it was some kind of commercial promotion. Only later on did we realize that it was a F***king huge trap. How is this a membership form? It's clearly a membership form from the Pingtian sect. In the end, we were all tricked into the Pingtian sect and fell into their trap. We couldn't escape even if we wanted to. They could do that. Many students on the forum were dumbfounded. This was the first time they had seen membership recruitment like this. At this point, the student became even more indignant. It's fine if we join the Pingtian sect. It's just joining a martial arts club. It's no big deal. What's worse is that we wanted to buy pills from them, saying buy 1 and get 10 free. But do you know what they did? We bought 1 pill, and they actually gave us 10 stones. 10 stones the size of goose eggs. They shamelessly said that it was buy 1 and get 10 free. They're fair to all. I gave them F***king gifts. Is there such a thing as buy 1 and get 10 free? The corners of everyone's mouths twitched. They were speechless. They actually felt that there was nothing wrong with the logic. After all, buy 1 and get 10 free did not specify what to give. It was just that the other party thought they were giving 10 pills. They did not expect them to give 10 stones. However, this kind of behavior was quite shameless. We're in the same boat. It's the same for me. However, you were deceived by the despicable peddler who sold pills, while I was scammed. Another student also shouted. When I was walking, a few Pingtian sect bastards came over and said they wanted to spar with me. One of them, a skinny student, said that he cultivated a body of endurance martial arts. His defense was off the charts, and he was invincible. Experts of the same level could not break through his defense at all. He even asked me to try punching him. If I could break through his defense, he would give me 1,000 points. At that time, I was very curious. Was this guy's endurance martial arts really that powerful? Moreover, if I defeated him, I could even get 1,000 points. That was why I was tempted. Without saying a word, I threw a punch at him. But before I could hit his chest, that skinny student fell to the ground with an ah. He was still shouting that someone was hit, someone was hit, someone was hit. He even spat blood out of his mouth. It was very realistic. Then, a few tall and burly students surrounded me. They fiercely demanded that I pay. If I didn't have the money, I would have to join the Pingtian sect and work like a slave. I had no choice. I was just a poor student. After being threatened like that, I was so scared that I peed my pants. I obediently joined the Pingtian sect. As he spoke, he began to cry. He had never been scammed in his life. This time, he finally gave up. Me too. I was also scammed by those Pingtian sect bastards. However, I've been scammed many times since I was young. I'm very experienced in dealing with scammers. I saw through their scam immediately. Another student also shouted. At that time, I righteously rejected their shameless request. I firmly refused to join this ridiculous martial arts club. I even criticized their immoral behavior. However, I didn't expect those bastards to fly into a rage. 20 to 30 burly men surrounded me and said they wanted to spar with me. I spar with their faces. 20 to 30 of them beat me up. Is this a spar? It's clearly a gang fight. As you can imagine, I was beaten up like a pig. In the end, I really couldn't take it anymore, so I agreed to join the Pingtian sect. He described how he had been treated the day before with a face full of grief and indignation. Me too, me too. I was scammed at that time. I stupidly wrote an application form and joined. The Pingtian sect has scammed countless people. Back then, I would rather die than join, but I was also beaten up. I don't know where those bastards learned how to scam people. They're too despicable. Those bastards even threatened us. We had to bring 2 new members with us. Otherwise, we would be beaten up and even have to pay a fine. Chapter 373. One by one, the victims came out to complain about their tragic experiences. They spoke of how they were forced to join the Pingtian sect. All of them were extremely aggrieved, and everyone could empathize with them. Cheating, kidnapping, and beating people up? How shameless. No wonder they can pull so many people into the Pingtian sect. Being forced like this, They have to join any student they meet. The most despicable ones are the students who join the Pingtian sect. Everyone has to pull 2 newcomers in. If this continues, the entire Yinhuang University will be filled with them. No wonder they reached 30,000 members in just 2 days. If they were given a few more days, would there still be people left in our martial arts clubs? How is this a martial arts club? It's clearly a criminal gang. Everyone is a criminal. If the upper beam is not straight, the lower beam will be crooked. Such a good martial arts club has been turned into a mess by Xiaoping. After a long time, who will want to join other clubs? Everyone has been forced to join the Pingtian sect. There's no room for us martial arts clubs to survive. Immediately, countless martial arts club members were in an uproar. They immediately understood why the Pingtian sect had developed so quickly. In just 2 days, they had gained 30,000 members and were known as the #1 club in Yinhuang University. If they were forced to join like this, given enough time, they would be able to pull in as many people as they wanted. Immediately report this to the school authorities. Tell them that the Pingtian sect is using illegal methods to pull in members. If this continues, our club will be completely finished. If we let such a black sheep stay in Yinhuang University, there will be no chance for us to make a name for ourselves. If we don't show our power, they'll really think we're sick cats. We must teach Xiaoping a lesson this time. Many big shots of the clubs were filled with righteous indignation. If stealing the plaque was a slap in their faces, then it was a threat to the very foundation of their club's survival. If everyone in their club was pulled away, then the entire martial arts club would fall apart and cease to exist. Therefore, they would definitely not sit idly by and let Xiaoping and the others continue to run amok here. Without hesitation, the big shots of the clubs went to the school administration office to complain, hoping to ban the evil martial arts club called the Pingtian sect and stop them from continuing to do evil here. Feng Hetong and the others quickly heard the news and went to the administration office to refute it. Xiaoping did not show up personally, leaving all these matters to Feng Hetong and the others to handle. I heard that your Pingtian sect has been stirring up trouble and committing all sorts of crimes in the school. You've been using all sorts of illegal methods to recruit other students into the martial arts club. Is that true? The head of the academic affairs office was having a headache. This was the first time he had seen such a troublemaking student. Not only did he not stop after destroying hundreds of clubs, he even established a martial arts club and snatched away many students. This was clearly a ruthless extermination. There's no such thing. Feng Hatong said righteously. It's all because of these losers. They're slandering us maliciously. They're jealous that our Pingtian sect is developing like the midday sun, so they're spreading rumors everywhere to slander us. I believe that you, Dean of Academic Affairs, are a smart man. You must be able to see the shameless, despicable, and insidious mentality of these stray dogs. They just can't stand to see others doing well. Hearing this, the big shots of the martial arts clubs were furious. Damn fatty, who are you talking about? Who's a stray dog? Watch your tone. You're accusing us of malicious slander? Slander my ass. You swindled, beat, and used these shameless methods to rope in members. Is that wrong? That's right. We have many witnesses here who can prove that you've used illegal methods to compete maliciously and deliberately disrupted the school's order. In the long run, the school will no longer be a school. All of them glared at Feng Hatong and the others. They wanted to eat the Pingtian sect alive. Is this the evidence you're talking about? T. You're making things up. Feng Hatong denied all the accusations. I admit that we did use some methods to recruit members, but they're just for novelty. There's nothing against the school's rules. It's just like doing business. You can only succeed by winning by surprise. Who said that you can only do business honestly and others aren't allowed to advertise? Immediately, the group of people was stunned. They were also rather dumbfounded. It was indeed as Feng Hatong said. Although their methods were despicable, there was nothing illegal about them. First, they had used the buy one get 10 free marketing method to attract students and trick them into joining the Pingtian sect. However, thinking about it carefully, it was just a misunderstanding from the students. From the beginning to the end, they had never said that they would give 10 pills. Moreover, The students had filled in the application willingly without any reluctance. If there was anything wrong, it could only be said that the students had misunderstood. It had nothing to do with the Pingtian sect. As for the so-called scam, it was just the people involved talking nonsense. There were no witnesses around, so who could say that it was scam? Couldn't it be a false accusation? In this world, it was not impossible for some people to bribe witnesses to give false testimony. As for the acts of beating up students and forcing them to join, according to Feng Hatong and the others' explanation, it was purely martial arts practice. It was part of the Pingtian sect's earnest teaching and not bullying. The group of society elders was so angry that smoke was coming out of their noses. What do they mean by distorting the truth? What do they mean by making the dead come to life? That was exactly what they meant by the shameless Pingtian sect. It was clearly these bastards who had used all sorts of illegal methods to force some students to join the Pingtian sect. Now, they were saying that they were jealous and framing them. How shameless! They had never seen such shameless people in their lives. Hearing this, the teaching director was also speechless. If they really wanted to investigate, the Pingtian sect's methods were very problematic. If every society did the same, the world would definitely be in chaos. However, the Pingtian sect walked the line between light and darkness. They had found a loophole in the school rules, so they could not punish the Pingtian sect. Therefore, the Pingtian sect had nothing to fear. In the end, after thinking for a long time, the teaching director finally came to a decision. The Pingtian sect was not allowed to use illegal methods to recruit members in the future. The students had to join voluntarily. The other martial arts societies could not follow suit. As for this matter, even if it ended like this, it still acknowledged the Pingtian sect's legitimacy in recruiting members. The people from the other martial arts societies were so angry that their teeth itched. They had caused such a big incident, but the Pingtian sect was not punished. They were really dissatisfied and very unconvinced. However, the teaching director had already given the order, so they could not do anything. Feng Hatong and the others complained that the punishment was unfair and that they were bullying others too much. They were not satisfied with the decision, but they were all secretly happy, even if they could not use such methods to recruit members in the future. Chapter 374. In the hall of a villa in the elite area of Yanhuang University, 3 or 4 people were discussing something. One of them looked similar to Su Jianhua. He was Su Jianhua's brother, Su Yunlong, an expert at the second heaven of the martial master realm. His body exuded a condensed aura. Just sitting in a chair, he could make people feel a strong sense of oppression, as if there was a terrifying, fierce beast hibernating in his body. Once it broke out, it would be earth-shattering. The aura of the other 3 people was also extremely strong. They were all experts at the first heaven of the martial master realm. They had transformed their genuine chi into genuine essence, and every move they made had the aura of a master. Such a powerhouse would be a powerhouse in Yanhuang Star, strong enough to command an army. Even in the cloud realm, he would be regarded as a master, strong enough to fight 1,000 enemies. They were all members of the Su family and could be regarded as Su Yunlong's uncles. They were all over 40 or 50 years old. They were called Su Bowen, Su Bou, and Su Buchuan. Yunlong, this time we are here to talk about the Scourge Xiaoping. I wonder if you know anything about that kid. The first to speak was Su Bowen. He was the backbone of these 3 people. He looked cultured and refined, but he was actually sinister and ruthless in secret. He had a belly full of poisonous schemes, and he could be said to be the Su family's think tank. Of course I know. Su Yunlong's eyes flickered. Recently, this kid has caused trouble in Yanhuang University and harmed many people. At present, there is no one in the entire Yanhuang University who is more famous than him. Not to mention his record of single-handedly defeating hundreds of clubs. Just the fact that he formed a martial arts club with tens of thousands of people in a few days shows that he is not only a reckless man, but also extremely wise. He was not the kind of person who would not go out. Naturally, he knew what Xiaoping had done in Yanhuang University recently. Very famous? That's a little troublesome. Su Bowen's face was gloomy. This kid killed several geniuses of my Su family and is my sworn enemy. The more famous he is, the more disadvantageous it is for my Su family. He has already caused trouble in Yanhuang University when he is only in the martial warrior realm. If he is promoted to the martial master realm or even the grand master realm, our Su family will have to obey him in the future. He clenched his fists, feeling very unhappy. The more he knew about what Xiaoping had done, the greater the sense of crisis in his heart. If this continued, that brat would definitely become a king-level powerhouse. At that time, their Su family would be finished. There's also your brother Su Jianhua. Su Bo also said he seemed to have brought a lot of people to deal with Xiaoping and chased him all the way to the gloomy corpse mountain range. However, a month has passed, and there is still no news of him. He's probably dead. We're guessing that he was probably killed by Xiaoping. His entire army was wiped out. He clenched his fists tightly, and a murderous aura emanated from his body. His heart was in turmoil. Although we don't have any evidence, this matter is definitely related to Xiaoping. Su Buqian gritted his teeth. I've also found some news. The Lu family's descendant Lu Weihai had a conflict with Xiaoping in Encorp City, and Lu Weihai even secretly sent people to deal with him, killing their way into the Encorp's mountain range. But he hasn't come out yet. The Lu family is furious, but they can't find the murderer. They can't even find the corpse. In the end, they can only leave it unsettled. I feel that this matter is definitely related to that little bastard Xiaoping. Su Yunlong, what do you think of this matter? He looked at Su Yunlong. I'm not interested in this matter, Su Yunlong lightly said. His face did not have any expression. With a pung, Su Buqian suddenly stood up. His body trembled, and the red wooden chair beside him was shattered to pieces. He angrily stared at Su Yunlong. Su Yunlong, what do you mean by this? Your brother is dead, possibly killed by that little bastard Xiaoping, and you dare say you're not interested? Are you still a member of my Su family? Don't you have any family spirit? He flew into a rage. Of course I'm a member of the Su family, but that idiot brother of mine overestimated himself. If he wanted to find trouble with others, he should have already thought of this outcome. He didn't have the strength to learn how to take revenge. He died in vain. Su Yunlong was not moved at all by his brother's death. His tone was indifferent. You. Su Buqian gritted his teeth. He was half dead from anger, wanting to make a move. But before he could make a move, Su Yunlong's expression was indifferent. He didn't see how he did it, but the temperature of the entire room dropped sharply. Starting from his feet, the ground instantly froze, and the chills spread quickly. In just a breath's time, Su Buqian's feet were completely frozen, and even a gust of cold air invaded his lungs. Stop, Yunlong. Seeing this, the two people next to him were shocked and immediately told Su Yunlong to stop. Hearing this, Su Yunlong also stopped and looked at Su Buqian indifferently. Uncle Buqian, in this world, the fist is the truth. Strength is the only thing that is truly reliable. What family, what relationship, what power, what tricks in the face of absolute strength, they're all scum. No matter how you struggle, when you meet a king-level powerhouse, the other party can turn the Su family into powder with just an order. Don't you understand this? Each of you is self-righteous, immersed in the glory of your family, not thinking about making progress, and stubborn. This is why the Su family has not been able to leave planet Yanhuang so far. You are old, and now is the era of the young. His tone was indifferent, but it contained an unquestionable meaning. You. Su Buqian gritted his teeth, but his heart was also shocked. Su Yunlong was only at the second heaven of the martial master realm, which was only a small realm higher than him, but he did not even need to make a move to subdue him. If Su Yunlong wanted to make a move, he could kill him in one breath. Such a gap in strength made him feel despair. Yunlong, you are capable now. You have fur, wings, and you have grown up. You even cultivated the king-level cultivation method, Xianming Sutra, and cultivated the power of Isotribute True Qi. Every move you make contains the power of heaven. The few of us are no match for you. Su Bowen spoke in a low voice. But don't forget that you're still a member of my Su clan in the end, and your current accomplishments are all thanks to the resources my Sioux clan bestowed upon you. Could it be that you can't do something for the Sioux clan? Doing something is natural. After all, I'm still a member of the Sioux family. Su Yunlong said indifferently, but you are too narrow-minded. You have stayed on planet Yanhuang for too long, and you have forgotten what dominates this world. Now that I have made a move, I just want to teach you this. Of course, I will still kill that Xiaoping. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Su Bowen raised his eyebrows. Why? Aren't you unwilling to make a move? Chapter 375. His Secret. Hearing this, Su Bowen and the others looked at Su Yunlong in confusion. Didn't you notice one thing? That kid's rate of improvement is simply too fast. Su Yunlong said coldly. When he entered the university, he was only at the 5th sky of the martial artist realm. But today, in just a short period of time, he actually advanced to the 8th sky of the martial artist realm. It's fine if it's just the speed of improvement, but he actually cultivated a powerful protective technique. Even a martial artist one level higher than him can't break through his defense. According to my investigation, after entering Yanhuang University, he didn't even step into the library and didn't exchange for any king-level techniques. What does this mean? It means that he must have a big secret and learned a powerful technique from somewhere. That's why he doesn't care about the martial arts manuals of Yanhuang University and improved so fast. He pointed out the reason why he was curious about Xiaoping's secret. Indeed, we also suspect this. Su Bowen couldn't help but nod. That kid is just a trash from the city enforcement. He was originally ordinary, but since the 3rd year of high school, he suddenly improved by leaps and bounds and became a genius that attracted the attention of the world. He was even recruited by the giant company. No matter how I think about it, it's very strange. We suspect that the little bastard had some amazing encounter, but no matter how we investigate, we can't find anything fishy. It's very strange. He was also very confused about this matter, but no matter how much effort the Su family put in, even investigating everyone around Xiaoping, paying attention to any clues, they couldn't find anything useful. As time passed, they gave up on investigating. It's fine if we can't find anything. We can just ask directly, Su Yunlong said calmly. Su Bo was shocked. What do you mean by that? Are you going to deal with that little bastard? This is a bit troublesome. This is Yanhuang University. There is surveillance everywhere. Also, he has the protection of the giant company. This is a bit tricky. They also wanted to kill Xiaoping, but in Yanhuang University, they couldn't do it at all. Once they did, they would be immediately monitored and their Su family would be finished. What are you afraid of? Su Yunlong sneered. I'm an elite student of Yanhuang University. I have special privileges in the university. Even if I go a little overboard, no one could do anything to me. Tomorrow, I'll go see that Xiaoping. Call him out and interrogate him face to face. I really want to see what kind of 3 heads and 6 arms he has, and what kind of shocking secrets he is hiding. A look of greed appeared in his eyes. If he could obtain the secret of Xiaoping's rapid improvement, it might help him break through to a higher realm of martial arts. This kind of greed was the direct reason why he dealt with Xiaoping. Even if his brother was killed, he wouldn't care in the slightest. Good, very good. With you, Yunlong, taking action, there will be no mistakes. Hearing this, Su Buchuan's anger immediately dissipated. As long as Su Yunlong agreed to help Xiaoping, that brat would be dead for sure. He knew what kind of person Su Yunlong was. He was known as the #1 genius of the Su family. He was vicious and merciless, and even more feared than Su Yuntian. With such a person personally taking action, there was no reason for Xiaoping to not die. But tomorrow seems to be the time for the opening of the Cloud Mountain Range. According to that brat's character, he will definitely participate. Su Bowen's eyes flickered. He knew a lot of information. If he enters the Cloud Mountain Range, obtains a huge fortuitous encounter, breaks through to the Martial Master Realm, and becomes an elite student, then I'm afraid it will be much more difficult for us to deal with him. Once one reached the Martial Master Realm, whether it was status or strength, there would be earth-shaking changes. Even the Su family would have to feel a trace of fear towards a Martial Master Realm expert. Even the school would pay more attention to elite students. If one died, there would be a thorough investigation. Su Bowu and Su Buqian's hearts tightened. They knew that they absolutely could not let Xia Ping continue to advance like this. Otherwise, it would be even more difficult to deal with him. So, when he went to the Cloud Mountain Range, I stopped him. He still wanted to enter the Cloud Mountain Range to obtain a fortuitous encounter and advance to the Martial Master Realm. I did not give him this chance at all. Su Yunlong sneered and clenched his fist, revealing a ruthless expression. At this moment, the sky was just beginning to brighten. In a villa in the ordinary student district, Xia Ping sat in a quiet room in the villa. Over the past 3 days, he had not paid attention to the Pingtian sect. He had focused on cultivating and consumed the 15 Dragon Tiger pills that he had bought. These pills immediately transformed into a large amount of true qi that surged into his 9th acupoint, filling it up continuously. Even when the true qi was extremely dense, it transformed into a large amount of true qi. The true qi in the depths of his dantian was dark red, like a cluster of flames burning inside his dantian. If he could deliver 10 punches with the strength of a martial master before, then he could deliver 20 punches now. The power of his true qi had doubled. Under the burning of the dark red flames, his body was continuously tempered, making it even stronger. It was like steel that had been tempered thousands of times. Every move he made contained great strength. Boom! When the 15 Dragon Tiger Rui pills fused into his body and were refined by the pure yang immortal incantation in his body, the fiery Zhen Yuan power vibrated, and a dark red flame appeared on his body. The temperature of the room rose sharply, and even the air seemed to be burning. The cement floor was also burned by the dark red flames. It actually melted and looked like it had turned into magma. Phew! Xia Ping opened his eyes and let out a deep breath. The flames in the air immediately retracted and were absorbed through every pore of his body, merging with his blood. The surrounding temperature also returned to normal. What a pity the Dragon Tiger pills are no longer useful to me. Xia Ping's eyes flickered. The 15 Dragon Tiger pills had given him a large amount of true qi. There were many benefits. The converted true qi had filled up half of his acupoints. However, taking too many of these pills had already caused his body to develop antibodies. Even if he took more, it would not have any effect. He had to find other spirit herbs. Perhaps only the water of life will be useful. Oh, right, today seems to be the day the Cloud Mist Mountains opens. I have to go to the entrance of Yanhuang University. Xia Ping suddenly remembered that today was the day the Cloud Mist Mountains opened. His opportunity to advance to the Martial Master Realm was probably at the Cloud Mist Mountains. If he could obtain a large amount of the water of life, he would definitely be able to quickly refine his true qi and break through to the Martial Master Realm. I wonder what kind of secret realm the Cloud Mist Mountains is. Xia Ping was looking forward to it. He also turned his eyes and remembered something. By the way, I have turned off the system prompts these days. I don't know how much hatred has increased. I wonder if it is enough to get 1 million hatred points? Chapter 376. System. How much hatred have I gained recently? Xia Ping immediately asked. The system said, congratulations to the host. Recently, you have gained 100,000 hatred points, and the total hatred points have increased to 950,000. You still need 50,000 hatred points to reach 1 million. I hope the host will continue to work hard. 100,000 hatred points? Xia Ping's eyes flickered. He ordered Feng Hetong to build the Pingtian Gate and used a lot of methods to anger many students. However, those students didn't reach the level of killing Xia Ping, just discussed. To be able to get 100,000 hatred points was already not bad, and it was only because of the large number of people that he got so much. I'm just short of 50,000 hatred points to reach 1 million. I wonder what the system's gift pack is. Xia Ping was looking forward to it. He also felt that he wasn't far from 1 million hatred points. He estimated that he could reach it with a little more effort. It wasn't a difficult hurdle to overcome. Beep beep, suddenly Xia Ping's smartwatch rang. Immediately, there were 2 or 3 communication requests. They were Chu Rong, Jiang Yaru, and Nan Gongwu. With a snap, The virtual projections of the three people appeared in midair. "What's the matter?" Xiaoping asked curiously. He knew that the three of them had been stimulated by him. Recently, they had been working hard in seclusion. Jiang Yaru said in a deep voice, "I believe you also know that I joined a martial arts organization, the Cold Moon Palace. A few days ago, the Cold Moon Palace organized a party at Yanhuang University. At that time, Chu Rong and I went to participate. Coincidentally, at the party, a king-level powerhouse from the Cold Moon Palace wanted to accept me as a disciple, so I will be following Master to cultivate. I estimate that I will be leaving Yanhuang University for a period of time. I don't know when I will be back." Chu Rong also nodded. "It's the same for me. I was accepted as a disciple by another king-level powerhouse from the Cold Moon Palace. I also have to cultivate with him. I'm afraid that I will also be leaving Yanhuang University, so I came to say goodbye to you." The two of them concisely explained the reason for their call. "With your aptitude, there are actually king-level powerhouses who want you as disciples? Are you for real? You didn't encounter unspoken rules, did you? How did you get promoted?" Xiaoping blinked his eyes and looked at the two. He knew that if a king-level warrior was willing to take them as his disciples, it would be like reaching the heavens in a single bound. It would be many times better than being admitted to Yanhuang University. With such a terrifying person standing behind them, who would dare to bully them? Even training resources would be rolling in, and there would be countless benefits. However, even though Yanhuang University had 200,000 students, not many king-level fighters were willing to accept these students as disciples. Sometimes it depended on the other party's mood, and sometimes it depended on fate. "What do you mean? What do you mean by relying on our aptitude? Are the two of us that bad?" Chu Rong was so angry that she almost died. This bastard's dog mouth simply couldn't spit out ivory. If Xiaoping was in front of her, she would definitely fight it out with this bastard. Jiang Yaru grumpily said, "Our Cold Moon Palace's people are all women. What sort of unspoken rules are you talking about? Don't spout nonsense here. If our master finds out, you'll definitely have to bear the consequences." He actually dared to criticize a king realm expert in his heart. This fellow is too audacious. So what if she's a woman? Can't women talk about unspoken rules? What if she's a lesbian? Xiaoping disapproved. Chu Rong gritted her teeth. This bastard's heart was really filthy to the extreme. Don't talk nonsense with this shameless bastard. Just talking to him a few more times will make you half die of anger. Jiang Yaru had already cultivated to the realm where his heart was as calm as water. If it weren't for this, he would have long since gone mad from anger. "I actually came here this time to say goodbye." Nangong Wu also opened her mouth, her beautiful eyes as calm as water. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. "You were also unspoken." The corner of Nangong Wu's mouth twitched. She grumpily said, "Just talking to you make me want to beat you up. It's not like that. My mother's family sent someone to pick me up, so I need to leave Yanhuang University for a period of time." Mother's family? Xiaoping's eyes flickered. According to the information he received, Nangong Wu's mother seemed to have passed away a long time ago. No one in Tinshui City knew who Nangong Wu's mother was. Even her name was unknown, and she had never appeared in front of the world. Because of this matter, some people even thought that Nangong Wu had been adopted by Nangong Hai. However, Nangong Hai didn't care about this matter, and Nangong Wu was still the direct heir of the Nangong family. Now, she actually said that her mother's family had come to pick her up. Could it be that her mother's family was a great force in the Sky Realm? In short, that's how it is. I hope we'll have a chance to meet again. Nangong Wu's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of complicated emotions. There were many things that were difficult to say, but she didn't say anything and directly hung up. Xiaoping didn't ask either. This was her family matter, so he couldn't ask anything. "Remember, next time I'll definitely beat you up until you look for your teeth on the ground." Chu Rong clenched her fists and revealed a fierce expression. She also hung up the communicator. Jiang Yaru said, "Annie told me to watch over you and not cause trouble everywhere. But I guess you wouldn't listen even if I said it. In short, be careful. Don't be too careless and get plotted against." After saying that, she also ended the call. They've all left. Xiaoping didn't expect to part ways with the three of them so soon. But this was also good. They had a big backer, which would be great for their future development. Ding dong, suddenly, the villa's doorbell rang. It was very urgent. It's really lively today. Someone came looking for me again. Who are they? Xiaoping turned on his smartwatch and projected it in the air. He immediately saw 3 or 4 people standing in front of the villa. Each of them had an extremely strong aura. They were at least in the martial master realm. One of the young men dressed in black was even more tyrannical. He stood with his hands behind his back. He didn't carry any weapons, but he emitted the aura of a monarch. His might suppressed the world, and no one could disobey his will. Su family, Su Yunlong. The man in black stood with his hands behind his back and said indifferently, "You must be Xiaoping. Come out immediately. I have something to talk to you about." Su Yunlong. Xiaoping's eyes flashed with a cold light when he heard the name. He remembered that when Su Jianhua came looking for trouble, he said that he had an elder brother who was an elite student and protected him in school. His name was Su Yunlong. Now, this kid came looking for him. Could it be because of Su Jianhua's disappearance? However, he remained calm and said, "There's something you want to talk to me about? I have nothing to talk to your Su family. Get lost." He unceremoniously asked the guest to leave. "You don't know how to appreciate favors." Su Buqiuan sneered and said, "We're giving you face by coming here to talk to you. Don't be so shameless. If you continue to be stubborn, don't blame me for dealing with the people around you." He was full of murderous intent. "What do you mean?" Xiaoping narrowed his eyes, and there was a hint of murderous intent in the depths of his pupils. Su Buqiuan snorted coldly. "That's what I mean. I remember that you have many female confidants around you, and you also have a good brother. We can't deal with you, but can't we deal with them? Maybe you think that staying at Yanhuang University is very safe and we can't deal with them, but you're wrong. Very wrong. I don't believe that they haven't left Yanhuang University and gone out to train. Once they dare to leave Yanhuang University and go out to train, we will act immediately and use all means to kill them. Think about the consequences carefully. If you don't want them to die, you'd better listen to me." Chapter 377. Hearing these words, Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and stared at Su Buqiuan and the others. A trace of anger surged in his heart. He guessed that these people didn't know that Jiang Yaru and the others already had a powerful backer, a king-level master behind them. Otherwise, how could they dare to say such words? Offending a king-level master was the same as courting death. However, he didn't say anything. He just calmly looked at these people, wanting to see what other tricks they had up their sleeves. No, Uncle Buqiuan, this is a bit too much." Su Yunlong faintly smiled and said, "No matter what, this kid is also a big shot. He has the protection of the giant corporation, so you can't go too far. If there's a life and death struggle, it won't be good for everyone. Don't worry. Today, I also came here to have a serious talk with you. Let's see if we can resolve the grudges between us. We are all students of Yanhuang University, so we are on the same side. I won't do anything unfavorable to you." He revealed a gentle expression, indicating that he didn't have any bad intentions. "You guys just want to talk?" Xiaoping calmly said, but he was sneering in his heart. How could he not feel the deep malice coming from these people? However, he was bold now. Even if he faced a martial master, he wouldn't have the slightest bit of fear. He just wanted to see what tricks these people had up their sleeves. "That's right, we just want to talk." Su Yunlong nodded. "But this is not a convenient place to talk. Follow me, let's find a secret place to talk." After speaking, he turned and walked away. Xiaoping's eyes flashed, and he followed. Not long after, they left Yanhuang University at an extremely fast speed. After running for 300 to 400 kilometers, they finally stopped in a remote valley. There were lush trees all around, and there were flying insects and beasts living nearby. There were no traces of humans at all. It could be said that this was a desolate place. After arriving in this valley, Su Yunlong and the others turned to look at Xiaoping. "This is a secret place? It's too secretive. It's hundreds of kilometers away from Yanhuang University, and there's no one around. What do you guys want to do by bringing me here? What do you want to talk about?" Xiaoping looked at this group of people. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Hearing this, Su Bowen, Su Bou, and Su Buqiuan all sneered with malicious intent. They immediately surrounded Xia Ping, as if they wanted to capture him. Talk about what? Why the hell am I talking to you? Su Buqiuan sneered. What an idiot. We asked you to follow us, and you really followed us. You're simply a brainless piece of trash. How could someone like you be an enemy of our Su family? What a joke. To tell you the truth, you're done for today. This valley is hundreds of kilometers away from Yanhuang University. It's no longer within the surveillance range of Yanhuang University, and the teachers won't stop us either. When we were in school, we were afraid of you, afraid that you would provoke the teachers of Yanhuang University. But now, they don't even know what's going on. Let's see how you're going to escape. He revealed a ferocious smile. Didn't you want to negotiate with me? Now you want to make a move and capture me? Isn't that a bit too much? That's not what we said before. Xia Ping raised his eyebrows and looked at the group. Su Bo laughed wildly. You're indeed an idiot. That was just a lie to trick you out of Yanhuang University. Do you really think we want to negotiate with you? What a joke. You've killed so many people from our Su family, and there's already a blood feud between us. How can we negotiate with you? Unless you become a servant of our Su family and work like a dog for our Su family in the future, then we can negotiate. Enough. Su Yunlong waved his hand. He looked at Xia Ping with an arrogant expression. At this point, you can't escape. If you dare to resist, you'll be courting death. My methods will let you experience what it means to wish you were dead, so don't do anything stupid. The reason why I came to find you is because I want to know one thing. What kind of cultivation method did you learn? How did you improve so quickly? From an ordinary student, you actually grew into a famous genius in Yanhuang University. It's not simple. Also, that protective cultivation method of yours seems to be very powerful. Even Yanhuang University's library doesn't have any records of it. Just where did it come from? Why don't you tell me all these secrets? If you cooperate well, the grudge between you and my Su family can be written off. I can even spare the lives of your lovers and your brothers. He stated his conditions. Yunlong, you'll let him go if you hand over the cultivation methods? Don't joke around. The clan leader has already given the order. At the very least, he needs to be crippled of his cultivation, and he can only beg on the streets for the rest of his life. Su Buqiuan laughed coldly, a terrifying killing intent surging from his body. I naturally know what I'm doing. It's not your place to interrupt. Su Yunlong looked at Su Buqiuan emotionlessly, then turned to Xia Ping. Have you thought it over? Normally, I don't give people this kind of opportunity, but I cherish talent and feel that you are a promising talent. That's why I'm giving you this opportunity. I hope you can cherish it and don't resist stubbornly. Of course, you can choose not to say anything and choose to resist. However, I will torture you until you wish you were dead. You will taste 360 kinds of torture in the world and try them one by one. When the time comes, you will eventually tell me. The expression on his face was very cold, like that of an executioner. If you kill me, are you not afraid of Yanhuang University's investigation and the giant company's investigation? Xiaoping looked at Su Yunlong indifferently. Su Yunlong laughed coldly. Investigation? This is Cloud World. Do you think you're still on planet Yanhuang? There are barren mountains everywhere, and there are no cameras. How can they investigate? Plus, I'm an elite student of Yanhuang University. Without evidence, the giant company can't do anything to me. You actually put your hopes on Yanhuang University and the giant company. What a joke. In Cloud World, strength is the most important. The so-called background and bloodline are all fake. One punch can kill them. You just came to Cloud World, so you don't understand this, but you will soon. He clenched his fist, and his killing intent surged. So that's how it is. Xiaoping nodded. If you kill people in the barren mountains, you won't find any clues. If that's the case, then I can kill all of you. If you all die here, it will be a good grave with good mountains and good water. He clenched his fist, and a wave of aura surged from his body. Shut up. Chapter 378. Ungrateful dog. I gave you face, but you don't want it. Su Buqiuan shouted angrily. His expression was sinister. We spoke to you nicely and told you to kneel and beg for mercy, yet you still dare to talk nonsense here. You even want to kill us. You're harboring evil intentions. Do you think we're easy to talk to? So you start rubbing your nose and staring at us? The faces of Su Yunlong and the others were ugly. They had already said a lot and gave Xiaoping a chance, but this kid didn't know how to be grateful. He even started to threaten to kill them. This was too much. Idiot, Xiaoping said coldly. You want to speak nicely? You threatened me the moment we met, threatened me with the lives of my friends, and even wanted me to hand over the secrets of my cultivation method. You even want to take my life. Is this what you call being easy to talk to? Your Su family is used to acting like a tyrant on Yanhuang planet. You are tyrannical and arrogant. You don't put anyone in your eyes. Everyone has to listen to you. I can tell you this. Just because of this, you all have to die today. A terrifying, murderous aura spread from his body as he stared at this group of people. Presumptuous. This is too presumptuous. What did you eat that gave you the courage to talk to us? Su Buqiuan trembled with anger, and his eyes were red. Su Yunlong, this kid, doesn't know how to appreciate favors and wants to kill us. Do you still want to speak up for him? How do you think this matter should be resolved? It's my fault. I didn't expect this kid to refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. I have to teach him a lesson so that he knows what he's capable of. Su Yunlong was murderous. Uncle Buqiuan, make your move. As long as you don't kill him, you can do whatever you want him. He had lost his patience and didn't want to continue talking to Xiaoping like this. Sometimes this was how things were. Some weak bugs always overestimated themselves and fantasized that they could escape from his palm. In the face of this situation, he just needed to slap these bugs into pieces. Then they would know how powerful he was. Good, very good. Su Buqiuan stared at Xiaoping. I don't know why you are so arrogant. Do you have something to rely on? Or do you really think that we don't dare to kill you? Do you think that your backer, the giant company, will protect you? But I will let you know how wrong your thinking is. In front of me, Su Buqiuan, you are nothing but an ant. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back and cast a sidelong glance. Come here to die. Brat, how dare a mere ant in the martial warrior realm speak to me like this? Su Buqiuan couldn't take it anymore and started to go crazy. I'm a martial master realm expert. Do you know what the martial master realm is? Condensing true qi into liquid, controlling true qi, controlling elemental energy, grasping wind as a knife, grasping water as a sword. The attack power of a punch is more than 10 times that of a martial artist in the martial warrior realm, and it can kill enemies from several kilometers away. How dare you challenge a martial mentor expert with your current strength? You're courting death. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, the true essence power on his body began to boil, and traces of flames suddenly appeared, condensing into a fire crow behind him, and terrible flames burned the surroundings. The fire crow gently flapped its wings, setting off shocking waves and shocking winds. The temperature rose sharply, and the power of the flames was controlled by him. With a bang, his right foot stepped on the ground, and a deep pit was formed in an instant. The ground cracked, and his right foot seemed to have explosive power. His body flew out in an instant like a cannonball. In just a breath, he was still dozens of meters away from Xiaoping, but he was already in front of Xiaoping. Go to hell, Su Buqiuan shouted angrily, clenching his fists of flames, and attacked with all his strength. He was really angry, and he wanted to beat this arrogant brat into a good-for-nothing with one blow, and completely destroy his cultivation. At this moment, Xiaoping made his move. He took a step forward and stomped on the ground, leaving a clear footprint. The pure yang immortal art in his body began to operate, and the true essence power in the depths of his dantian began to boil. An uncontrollable tyrannical power gushed out from the depths of his body, from his dantian, meridians to his feet, waist, and then to his shoulders, elbows, and finally to his fists. Walala, at this moment, Xiaoping's fists were surrounded by dark red flames, and he felt an unprecedented tyrannical power, which was more than 10 times stronger than true qi. His whole body's momentum suddenly rose, like an ancient giant, and his muscles swelled to the extreme. This kind of power was enough to tear mountains, sever rivers, and destroy the sky. Dong! This punch landed solidly on Su Buochuan's abdomen, and like the morning bell and evening drum, the sound shook the surroundings, and the sound condensed into a substance, like a wave sweeping in all directions. Su Buochuan had no idea what had happened, and he didn't even know when Xia Ping had punched him. He was hit in the abdomen by Xia Ping, and the true essence protection all over his body was smashed to pieces. The fire crow behind him was also smashed into pieces at this moment, disintegrating in the air, and vaguely there seemed to be a shrill scream. The tyrannical, true essence power immediately seeped into Su Buochuan's internal organs, and he immediately coughed up blood. His head roared, and his whole body fell from the air to the ground, smashing at Xia Ping's feet. When all of the flames and true essence fluctuations disappeared, everyone saw that Su Buochuan was like a dead dog, lying at Xia Ping's feet, vomiting great mouthfuls of blood. His breath was weak, and he no longer had any combat strength left. Xia Ping looked down from above, and he stepped on Su Buochuan's head. "You want me to kneel and beg for mercy? You want me to live a life worse than death, and you call me an ant? Now look, who is the ant who is kneeling and begging for mercy, and who is living a life worse than death?" He looked down at Su Buochuan like this. Su Buochuan was going crazy, and his face turned red. He saw a dignified expert in the martial master realm, who was like a general in the outside world, with a high status and great power, who was respected by countless people. But now he was like a dead dog, being stepped on by this little bastard who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, and even his head. This was a great humiliation. He had lived for dozens of years, but he had never been humiliated like this before. Not convinced? Do you believe that I won't cripple your Dantian and make you a cripple? You will only be able to sit in a wheelchair in the future, and you'll have a taste of what it means to live a life worse than death. You know that I have this ability. Xia Ping calmly looked at Su Buochuan. Little bastard, you dare. Su Buochuan was going crazy, and he was extremely angry. I am a martial master realm expert, and I'm also an elder of the Su clan. If you dare to treat me like this, it means that you will not rest until the Su clan is dead. If you start an all-out war, even the giant company will not be able to protect you. Do you understand? Chapter 379. Stop. At this moment, Su Yunlong spoke. He stared at Xia Ping and said, "Good lad, I didn't expect you to improve so fast. You have already reached the 9th level of fighter and cleared 9 acupoints. You even comprehended the power of true origin. Such a speed of improvement and such talent are too terrifying. It is a matter of time before you reach the martial master realm and become an elite student. No wonder you are the #1 expert among the freshmen. However, Su Buochuan is an elder of my Su clan. He is my man. You can't kill him." A trace of greed appeared in the depths of his eyes. He was getting more and more interested in the secrets of Xia Ping. Xia Ping had such a fast cultivation speed, yet his foundation was not unstable at all. Instead, it was incomparably solid, advancing step by step. This must be related to the cultivation technique he had. Such a cultivation technique probably surpassed the king-level cultivation technique. Such a cultivation technique probably didn't even exist in the library of Yanhuang University. Even elite students weren't qualified to learn it. Only a few big shots in the university were qualified to cultivate it. One could imagine how precious such a cultivation technique was. It was priceless. Su Bowen and Su Bo were shocked as well. They'd completely underestimated Xia Ping. They'd originally thought that with their strength, they'd be able to capture him easily and eliminate this scourge. But who would have thought that with just one move, Su Buochuan, whose strength was not inferior to theirs, would be defeated? He was beaten up like a dead dog with just one punch. This completely shocked them and showed them what it meant to be a monster in the world. It was simply illogical. Your Su clan won't rest until one of us is dead. Why can't I kill him? Xia Ping sneered. If you don't kill him, there is still room for negotiation. You can still bury the hatchet. But if you kill him, you will become a mortal enemy. Su Yunlong stared at Xia Ping. Any martial master is an extremely important battle force for the clan. Losing even one of them is a heavy loss. If you kill him, my Sioux clan will go crazy. Even a giant corporation won't be able to stop my Sioux clan from killing you. His tone was cold. You think I'm afraid of your Sioux clan? I can kill a bunch of trash like you, Xiaoping said indifferently. At that time, it's not me who's afraid of your Sioux clan. It's you who's afraid of me. Arrogant. Su Bowen stood up and looked at Xiaoping disdainfully. Do you think we'll be afraid of you just because you're putting on an act here? If you have the ability, then kill Su Bo. I want to see if you dare or not. Kill him if you can. F***CK, this bastard wants to harm me. Su Bowen's face turned green, but he didn't remember having any enmity with Su Bowen. At most, they had occasional conflicts. How could he be so ruthless at a critical moment? What do you mean? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and stared at Su Bowen. Su Bowen laughed coldly. You should know what I mean. With your strength, you could have killed Su Buochuan with a single punch, but you didn't. You left him alive, which means that you have some misgivings in your heart. You are afraid of killing him and offending my Sioux clan. Most importantly, you killed him, which is a serious crime in the Cloud Realm. If this matter is reported, the federal law will punish you, Yanhuang University will expel you, and Giant Company will not tolerate you. With witnesses and material evidence, where can you escape to? This is an ironclad case. Of course, you can escape and become a fugitive, but without the protection of Giant Company, your family, your friends, they will all be implicated by you. My Sioux clan will take revenge on them, and they will die a violent death. I've used this kind of intimidation method when I was a teenager. You actually want to use it in front of an expert? I don't believe that you really dare to kill my Sioux clan's elder. His tone was resolute, as if he had seen through Xiaoping and was sure that he wouldn't dare to kill him. You're right. This brat has some misgivings in his heart. He doesn't dare to kill me. When Su Buochuan heard these words, he immediately became smug and spoke with an incomparably arrogant tone. The human world is still a world of law. After killing someone, how can he escape? Unless he kills all of us and there's no evidence, how can he have the guts to do so? I'll also say that if you have the guts, kill me, Su Buochuan. At most, after 18 years, you'll be a good man again. He was instantly filled with courage and no longer had the fear and uneasiness he had earlier. This brat had some misgivings in his heart and didn't dare to act. Unless he killed all of them, there was no way he could hide it. But they had so many people here, and Su Yunlong was also here. How could this brat kill all of them? As long as even one of them escaped, this brat would be dead for sure. Xiaoping, if you have the guts, then do it. Su Bowen was fearless. He basically looked down on Xiaoping and saw through the weakness of this young man. He had grasped his weakness, and victory was already in his grasp. He stared at Xiaoping with disdain. I know your talent is outstanding, and you have cultivated an unknown divine art. Your improvement is godly, and you have the backing of the Giant Company. In time, you will definitely become a king-level expert. But you're only a martial artist now and don't have the qualifications to be a tyrant in the human world. You need to follow the laws of the Federation. If you kill our Sioux clan's elder, you will definitely become a fugitive of the Federation. The human world won't tolerate you anymore. At that time, all of your family members will die because of you. I advise you to release Su Buochuan obediently and hand over the secrets on your body. If you do that, we will still have a chance to be friends and bury the hatchet. This is your only way out. Boom! At this instant, Xiaoping took a step forward and grabbed the air with his right hand. True Qi surged out, and the surrounding air currents rapidly condensed into a substance, transforming into a dark red spear. Many mysterious inscriptions appeared on the surface of this spear. Large amounts of dark red flames wrapped around it, emitting a terrifying power. The flames burned the air like an ancient divine spear. Swish! Just as Su Bowen finished speaking, Xiaoping grabbed the spear and the true energy in his body boiled. A copious amount of energy surged out and ruthlessly smashed towards the spear. Oh no, quickly dodge! Su Yunlong sensed the danger, and his hair stood on end. He hurriedly shouted, trying to warn Su Bowen, but it was too late. Xiaoping's speed was extremely fast. It definitely surpassed the speed of sound. Moreover, Xiaoping and Su Bowen were only tens of meters apart. With such a short distance and such a fast speed, how could he dodge? Su Bowen didn't even expect Xiaoping to dare to attack. He was also caught off guard. In a breath's time, the dark red spear flew over, tearing the air and shattering the vacuum. Poochie! In the next second, the dark red spear pierced through Su Bowen's chest and burst his heart. Blood dripped down and dyed the entire ground red. At this moment, all of Su Bowen's complacent expression froze. His eyes revealed a look of disbelief as he stared at the dark red spear that had pierced through his chest. Chapter 380. Don't dare to kill you. Xiaoping looked at Su Bowen indifferently. Who do you think you are? Do you think I don't dare to kill you just because you say so? I guess you think I have scruples because of my young age, but let me tell you, I have no taboos. You have to be trustworthy. If I say I will kill your whole family, I will kill your whole family. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, the dark red spear condensed from quintessential essence immediately exploded like a super bomb. Su Bowen's entire body was immediately blown into pieces, turning into countless fragments that made a crashing sound. In this way, a first heaven of the martial master realm expert died, leaving only some minced meat residue. The whole ground was covered with blood, staining the earth red. Su Bowen was so scared that his face turned green and his whole body was trembling. He never thought that Xiaoping would be so cruel. He killed people without any taboos and was unscrupulous. Su Bowen, who jumped the most just now, thought that he was smarter than others and thought that he had grasped Xiaoping's weakness. He said that Xiaoping did not dare to kill people. But now, Xiaoping did not speak at all. He did not even bother to threaten them. In an instant, he attacked and burst Su Bowen's heart. He was so cruel. It was a pity that he foolishly listened to Su Bowen's words and even jumped out to point fingers and shout at Xiaoping. This was clearly courting death. Too cruel. Su Bowen was trembling all over. Su Bowen was an elder of the Su family. He had a high status and was a martial master realm expert. On Yanwang's star, he was a general-like existence. The death of such a person was equivalent to the assassination of an army general, who knew how much trouble it would cause. Even a person like him who had lived for decades and whose hands were stained with countless blood did not dare to kill. But now, Xiaoping had killed Su Bowen just like that. He had stabbed Su Bowen to death with a single stab of his spear. How arrogant was his behavior! He was even more ferocious than the fugitives of the Federation and the great demons that killed people like flies. Now, who dared to doubt Xiaoping's determination to kill and who dared to underestimate him? Su Yunlong's face was very ugly. He felt that he had completely underestimated Xiaoping. Although this kid was young, his methods were more ruthless than some gangsters who had lived for decades. Once he made a move, he would not drag things out. He was an ambitious and ruthless person. Su Buchuan, you can try. See if I dare to kill you? If you have the guts, you'll continue to clamor. Xiaoping lowered his head and looked indifferently at Su Buchuan, who was lying on the ground. A formless might emanated from his body. In particular, when he stabbed Su Bowen to death with his spear, he was filled with a terrifying killing intent. Su Bowen was so scared that he peed his pants. His entire body was trembling, and a large patch of his pants was wet. Xiaoping, don't act recklessly. You've already committed a heinous crime by killing Su Bowen. If you want to kill me, you'll be even more guilty. If the federal government finds out, it'll be a felony. If you're caught, you'll be executed. Su Buchuan trembled. Felony. Xiaoping immediately laughed. It was a cold laugh. If this matter is known by others, it will be a serious crime. If no one knows, then it is innocent. Didn't you guys lure me to this place for this purpose? The expressions of Su Buchuan and the others were extremely ugly. They also understood Xiaoping's intentions. They had lured Xiaoping to this desolate place in the hopes of silently killing him. Without evidence, even the giant company and Yanhuang University would not be able to do anything to him. However, this desolate place had become their graveyard. If they died in Xiaoping's hands without evidence, even the Su family would not be able to do anything to Xiaoping. They did not doubt Xiaoping's determination to kill. Even Su Bowen had been stabbed to death. He had already killed one person. What was the difference between killing one person and killing 10? Xiaoping. At this time, Su Yunlong stared at Xiaoping. Amazing, you're really amazing. You're only at the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm, but you've already comprehended the power of true essence. You can kill a 1st heaven of the martial master realm expert with one move. Such combat strength is extraordinary. You can be called a genius. I guess this is why you're so arrogant and dare to follow us to this valley. However, with this little strength, you want to be unscrupulous in front of me. Su Yunlong, this is simply not enough. Let me tell you what it means to say that there is always someone better than you. Rumble. As soon as his voice fell, with Su Yunlong's body as the center, a strong true essence power condensed. A huge aura, like that of a fierce beast, burst out from his body. At this moment, the entire valley began to tremble and rumble. He finally made his move. Su Bo and Su Buchuan were both surprised. They knew how powerful Su Yunlong was. At a young age, he had reached the 2nd heaven of the martial master realm, cultivated the King cultivation method Xianming Sutra, and was proficient in the power of ice. Once it was used, it would affect a radius of 5 or 6 kilometers and freeze the ground. Even though Xiaoping was very powerful compared to Su Yunlong, his cultivation time was still too short. Whether it was true Qi cultivation or martial arts experience, he was completely at a disadvantage. Bang! Su Yunlong slapped out with his palm, causing the air within a 1-kilometer radius to tremble. A terrifying cold current flowed out, forming a vortex that surrounded Xiaoping's body, as if it wanted to freeze him into an ice cube. Xiaoping felt that the temperature of the surrounding valley had dropped by dozens of degrees. The surroundings were filled with icy cold air, as if it was about to freeze his blood. Even the operation of his true Qi had stopped. If it was an ordinary martial artist, it was estimated that they would not be able to withstand Su Yunlong's palm. The cold air surged and froze their bodies. If they were stiff for a moment, Su Yunlong would attack them and kill them with one palm. This power was more than several times stronger than that of Su Bo and Su Buchuan. They were not on the same level at all. Boom! However, at this moment, the true Qi in Xiaoping's body immediately began to operate. Immediately, a flame power rose up and circulated around his body along his blood. His body temperature rose sharply. With a whoosh, a large number of flames emerged, sweeping away the surrounding cold air. In an instant, it was burned into water vapor, driving out the cold air. At this moment, his whole body was like a man on fire. Go to hell. Xiaoping was not to be outdone. He punched out, and a huge flame condensed into a substance, attacking Su Yunlong. Bang! The fist and the palm collided, and the cold power and the flame power collided, immediately causing an earth-shattering explosion. At the center of the collision, a deep pit with a diameter of 10 meters was immediately blasted out. Gravel flew everywhere, the ground shook, and smoke and dust billowed. There were even more than a dozen deep cracks, and no one knew how far they spread. Kill. Chapter 381. King Martial Skill, Xianming Cold Palm. First move, 6 Moons Flying Frost. At this moment, Su Yunlong displayed his king martial skill. With a palm strike, the palm prints in the air overlapped, covering the sky and covering the earth, densely covering the entire space. A terrifying cold current surged, and the cold wind howled in the sky. Every airflow turned into a terrifying cold current. Once it hit the enemy, it would immediately freeze the enemy into ice. It even had a terrifying lethality and could easily penetrate rocks. Too strong. Su Bo and Su Buchuan's hearts were trembling. This was the first time they had seen Su Yunlong use his full strength. Although he was only in the 2nd heaven of the martial master realm, he was many times stronger than them. His every move contained the ability to affect the weather. Under such a cold current, ordinary martial artists would have long been frozen stiff and unable to move. If the two of them were to fight with Su Yunlong, they would probably be killed in a few breaths. No wonder this guy looked down on them so much. With such strength, he was qualified to look down on the heroes. Facing such a terrifying attack, Xia Ping was unmoved. His mind was completely immersed in his own genuine essence power. He felt the power of the flame integrated into every cell of his body, and his body was unprecedentedly strong. With such power, he would definitely not lose to anyone. First move of the 10,000 Beast Fist, Violent Ape Hammer. This was the first time Xia Ping used the power of the true essence power to use the move of the 10,000 Beast Fist. However, this time, he felt a completely different feeling from before. At this moment, he seemed to be grateful that the power of the true essence was infused into the move. The entire violent ape seemed to come alive, as if the power of lava was flowing in its veins. Its hair was covered with flames, burning crazily, and it had a strong vitality. Rumble, he transformed into an ancient violent ape. His hands formed a circle, and a giant flaming hammer appeared in the sky. He smashed it fiercely, as if the god of fire had descended. He swung the iron hammer and smashed Mount Buzhou. Bang, bang, bang. There was a continuous sound of explosions in the sky. The flames and the cold current collided, and the cold current was immediately smashed into pieces. The flames melted the ice and snow, turning it into water vapor, and filled the surroundings. The ground around them crumbled. Huge boulders were turned to dust. Huge trees were uprooted, and even ice blocks and lava pits appeared on the ground. How is this possible? Su Yunlong was astonished. He could feel the berserk energy coming from Xia Ping's body. It was simply capable of destroying everything. The tyrannical energy passed through the void and into his body, almost injuring his internal organs. The most amazing thing was the flames. They were simply his nemesis, and they could burn everything like the essence of the sun. He had seen a lot of fire cultivation methods, but he had never seen such amazing flames. Even rocks would melt under such flames. It was simply impossible to resist. There was no doubt that the boy's cultivation method must be the top and could not resist. There was no doubt that the boy's cultivation method must be the best. What was even more difficult for him to accept was that this kid was only at the 9th heaven of the martial warrior realm, but he was already at the 2nd heaven of the martial mentor realm, which was 2 realms higher. Normally, he would be able to kill such a martial artist in a second, but now he was actually on par with him. This fact was hard for him to accept. Su, and Yang, and level could Yang. Zhou, Tian, He Yin Yin, and Xin, Yang King, X stage. He was no match for Lin Fan. Damn it. He really is the scourge of my Su clan. Such a person cannot be left alive. He must be killed and uprooted. Su Yunlong no longer had the thought of cherishing talent. Deep killing intent emanated from the depths of his eyes. The so-called cherishing of talent was because there was a huge gap between them. It was a condescending way of thinking that the other party was far inferior to him. But now, Lin Fan was close to him, and he was even a latecomer. How could he cherish Lin Fan? After a while, Lin Fan would probably be able to ride roughshod over him. Su Yunlong could only look up to Lin Fan. The second move of the Xianming Cold Palm, Ice Thunderball. Su Yunlong grabbed with his hand and immediately turned it into a ball. His genuine vitality surged, and a huge ice ball appeared in an instant. It was surrounded by a terrible chill. Bang, bang, bang. In just an instant, his hands turned into shadows in the air. Huge ice balls condensed and shot out like cannonballs, surpassing the speed of sound. If one was hit by these ice balls, even a hill would be pierced, not to mention a human. With so many ice balls, one would be smashed in a meat paste in an instant. It's useless. Die. A flame appeared in Xia Ping's eyes. It was as if a sun was rotating in his eyes. He was excited to the extreme. The more he used the power of genuine vitality, the more familiar he was with it, and the more he could comprehend the mysteries of genuine vitality. Even at this moment, his understanding of the Myriad Beast Fist had reached a new level. If his previous use of the Myriad Beast Fist was only superficial, showing the appearance of a beast, but no substance, now he could endow it with a soul. The moves were alive, and the power was several times stronger. The third move of the myriad beast's fist split bare hand. Roar! There was a roar in the void. A faint image of a violent bear appeared behind Xiaoping. It roared to the sky. Its fur was like flames, and the breath it breathed was like molten lava. It was incomparably violent. It was as if an ancient violent bear had traveled through time and came to the modern world. A wild aura was exuded. The ground beneath Xiaoping's feet cracked. Two huge craters appeared on the ground where Xiaoping stood. They were a pair of bear paws. Crackling sounds could be heard as countless cracks appeared on them. Dong! At this moment, Xiaoping slapped out with his palm. The air exploded, and he descended from the sky. The bear's paw contained the power of flames. It was as if he was a fiery bear, incomparably ferocious. Those ice balls were immediately smashed into smithereens, and some even flew out. Small mountains were smashed through, and huge rocks were smashed into smithereens. A small mountain in the distance was pierced by more than 10 ice balls. It was already riddled with holes. This is too exaggerated. Is this a monster? Su Bowu and Su Buqiuan's faces turned green. Compared to his performance just now, Xiaoping was simply a little white rabbit. He didn't use much of his strength at all. Now, he was like a ferocious tiger that could eat people. If Xiaoping had used such strength just now, they would probably be dead with one slap. They also knew that this kid was only in the 9th heaven of martial artist realm, and not a martial master realm expert. This was even more exaggerated. With a bang, Su Yunlong was slapped by the bear paw. His whole body flew out. The huge force shook his lungs, and he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. The power of the flames seemed to be melting him. If he hadn't desperately circulated his cultivation technique, he would have been burned to death. Xiaoping was also hit by an ice ball. The force shook and the tyrannical power erupted. Even Dark North's body protection technique couldn't withstand it, and his body was slightly injured. Chapter 382. Damn bastard, you've completely infuriated me. You're the one who forced me to do this. I'm going to kill you and tear you to pieces. Su Yunlong roared. His face was hideous to the extreme, and he was unable to restrain his anger. Who was Su Yunlong? He was an elite student of Yanhuang University, a powerhouse at the 2nd heaven of the martial master realm. He had cultivated the Xianming Sutra. Even among the many elite students of Yanhuang University, he was outstanding. But now, in the face of a junior, a martial artist at the 9th heaven of the martial warrior realm, he was injured by his opponent and even vomited blood. If this matter was spread out, people would definitely laugh their heads off. A powerhouse in the martial master realm was actually injured by a junior in the martial warrior realm. It was just like a boxing champion being defeated by an amateur. It was too exaggerated. It could be said that this was a great shame for Su Yunlong, a great shame that must be washed away. Xianming Cold Palm Ultimacy, 3 feet of ice. Rumble, with Su Yunlong's body as the center, a tyrannical aura burst out. The genuine essence in his body vibrated, and a huge glacier painting immediately condensed above his head. Each genuine essence outlined a line. The huge painting shook in the void, and immediately a tyrannical force gushed out. The surrounding 4 or 5 kilometers were shrouded in the power of ice. Clatter! Large snowflakes fell from the sky. In just a few breaths, they were 3 feet thick. The temperature dropped rapidly, at least 20 to 30 degrees below zero. Both Su Buqiuan and Su Bo were shivering from the cold. Go to hell! Su Yunlong gave an angry shout, and all the true essence in his body erupted. This was simply his peak strike. A huge glacier scroll fell from the sky and ruthlessly crushed down. The tyrannical power of ice shrouded Xiaoping's body. He wanted to shock Xiaoping to death with one blow. So strong. Xiaoping could clearly feel the tyrannical power of this glacier painting. It was almost a martial arts ultimacy. The surrounding temperature was extremely cold, almost to the extent that a drop of water would be frozen. Under such a temperature, ordinary martial artists could not even exert 30% of their strength. Not to mention that this power was also extremely terrifying. The wind was howling, and the qi was surging like the tide of the sea. The whole earth was shaking, and many cracks appeared on the ground. If this power reached him, his whole body would be smashed into pieces. Pure yang immortal art, pure yang true intent. Only I am supreme. Under such pressure, Xiaoping's potential was pushed to the brink of despair. The cultivation method within his body revolved crazily, and the temperature within his body rose crazily like a volcano. The surrounding ice and snow that landed on the surface of his body were immediately melted by the scorching flames, turning into water vapor that permeated the surroundings. With his body as the center, it formed a flame domain. As his cultivation method revolved to the limit, the dark red, true essence crazily revolved. Xiaoping was able to comprehend the true meaning of the pure, yang, immortal art. His true essence surged like liquid, condensing into the phantom of a solar furnace in the depths of his dantian. This was an anomaly that would only appear when one reached the martial master realm. His dantian transformed into a sun furnace, incinerating everything. Any energy that entered his dantian would be cleanly refined and absorbed, containing an incomparable might within. Originally, this was a phenomenon that would only appear when one entered the martial master realm. But now, under Su Yunlong's coercion, Xiaoping also gained a deep comprehension, and a trace of the embryonic form of the solar furnace appeared. 10,000 beasts, fists, 7th style, giant elephant axe. Xiaoping stepped out as a terrifying aura rose up. He was like an ancient divine elephant, instantly shattering the surrounding ice and snow. His stomp caused the earth to tremble. Violent true essence condensed, forming an ancient divine elephant behind him. The surface of its body was engraved with densely packed flame runes, as though it was a divine elephant that walked in the depths of the sun. Bang! Xiaoping punched out. It was like a giant axe descending into the world. The divine elephant raised its trunk, and a tyrannical strength shook the area. Flames erupted forth, descending from the sky. With a loud bang, this tyrannical force blasted the huge glacier painting and immediately shattered it into countless pieces like a block of ice. Even the ice cubes rapidly turned into water vapor under the heat of the flames. Su Yunlong couldn't help but scream miserably. Because his martial Tao's profound mysteries were forced, his mental energy was also heavily injured. He couldn't help but cough out large amounts of blood. But before he could do anything, a giant true essence axe descended from the sky, chopping down ruthlessly. Even the air was forcefully split into two with an aura that could shatter Mount Buzhou. Su Yunlong couldn't block it at all. His protective true essence was easily split apart, and a crack extended from his head all the way to his feet. With a poochie sound, a large amount of blood spurted out like a fountain, splattering on the ground, dyeing the white ice and snow on the ground red. In just one move, Su Yunlong's body was split in half. Even the ground cracked, and a crack appeared, extending for a kilometer. Kacha, kacha, kacha's sounds rang out. Su Yunlong dead. His corpse fell to the ground, his eyes wide open, filled with fear, unease, and disbelief. He didn't dare to believe that he had died just like that, and at the hand of a martial realm expert at that. He simply couldn't die in peace. Pooh! With a sound, Xiaoping couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale, and he felt a burst of weakness. That attack just now had almost exhausted his strength, and his cultivation method was activated to the extreme. It could be said that using this peak attack not only killed Su Yunlong, but also seriously injured his body at the same time. He was seriously injured, and all the meridians in his body were broken, and his blood was boiling like lava. If it wasn't for his incomparably strong body, he would have died long ago. He had paid a heavy price to forcefully unleash this martial master level attack. No way. Su Yunlong is dead. Su Buqiuan was dumbfounded. He couldn't believe that the genius of the Su family, Su Yunlong, the hope of the future, would actually die, and he died at the hands of a martial realm expert like Xiaoping. His heart was trembling, and he couldn't imagine what kind of expression the elders of the Su family would have if they knew about this. They would probably go completely crazy. "How dare you kill a member of my Su family? Go to hell." Su Bo shouted angrily in the distance. His eyes were wide open, and he was extremely angry. At the same time, he saw that Xia Ping's body was weak, and he thought that this was a great opportunity. He pounced on Xia Ping crazily and punched out, trying to kill Xia Ping. "You're courting death." A cold light flashed in Xia Ping's eyes. He gently flicked his finger, and a dark red, genuine vitality burst out. Like a dark red light, it instantly tore through the air. Dong! Immediately, the light penetrated Su Bo's head, and blood flowed out. Chapter 383. Run! Seeing this situation, Su Bochuan was so scared that he peed his pants. He knew that even in an extremely weak state, Xia Ping still had the power to kill them with a wave of his hand. How could he dare to go forward and take revenge? If he dared to do so, he would die. He operated the true essence in his body and immediately crawled up from the ground. His speed was extremely fast, like a rabbit. With a few jumps, he wanted to escape and leave this dangerous place. Just you wait. When I return to the Su family, I will use all the power of the Su family to completely eradicate this scourge. If Xia Ping doesn't kill me, I, Su Bochuan, am not a human. Su Bochuan gnashed his teeth, and his heart was filled with incomparable hatred. The Su family had come to find trouble with Xia Ping, but now 3 of them were dead and 1 was injured. The loss was unbearable. This was a great shame, and this was a blood feud. After he escaped, he must take revenge, otherwise he would not be able to swallow this anger. But now he did not dare to shout, because Xia Ping's ferocity was too terrifying. Staying here would only lead to death. In a few breaths, he had escaped 2 kilometers. Go to hell. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. He could not let Su Bochuan leave alive. If Su Bochuan left alive, who knew how much trouble it would cause? The Su family's revenge would come one after another, so Su Bochuan had to die. Bang! He kicked with his foot, and the power of true essence immediately wrapped around a piece of gravel on the ground. With a swoosh, the gravel instantly flew out, breaking through the sound barrier. At this moment, there was a sharp, deafening sound of something breaking through the air. Even the air condensed, and it spread in all directions like rolling waves. What? Su Bochuan instinctively felt a trace of danger. He turned around, wanting to know what had happened. But just as he looked, he saw a piece of gravel quickly flying towards him with incomparable accuracy. With a poochie sound, the gravel instantly pierced through Su Bochuan's true essence defense, then shot through his throat and smashed through a distant hill, finally shattering into pieces. Ugh, ugh. Su Bochuan covered his throat with both hands. However, his throat had been pierced and his neck was already leaking air. A large amount of blood gushed out from between his fingers like a faucet and dripped onto the ground. He wanted to say something, but his neck was leaking air, so he couldn't say anything. His eyes were wide open, filled with regret, unwillingness, fear, and disbelief. If he had known that this kid was so abnormal and powerful, he wouldn't have come looking for trouble with him, even if he was beaten to death. Unfortunately, it was already too late when he found out about this. With a plop, his entire body finally fell to the ground, sending up a cloud of dust. His pupils dimmed, and blood flowed on the ground, forming a bright red expanse. He had already lost all signs of life. Su Bo was dead. Who? Seeing that these Su family members were all dead, Xia Ping immediately breathed a sigh of relief. He felt that the true essence in his body had been exhausted, and his body felt unprecedentedly weak. Fortunately, he took advantage of the last bit of true essence to kill Su Bochuan and Su Bo. Otherwise, the one who died would definitely be Xia Ping. It's a little troublesome. I'm going to the cloud and Mist Mountain Range later. If I drag my body in like this, the situation will probably be very serious. Xia Ping's eyes flickered. He knew that the cloud and Mist Mountain Range was not a safe place. There were many dangers inside, and there were many tyrannical monsters living there. Once he encountered these dangerous creatures, his life would be in danger. At this time, the system's voice sounded, "Host, if you spend 500,000 hatred points, you can exchange for a top-grade healing pill to instantly heal your injuries." 500,000 hatred points? Xiaoping was speechless. In order to get hundreds of thousands of hatred points, he didn't know how many hateful things he had done. Every time, he spent a lot of effort. Now, just to instantly heal his injuries, he spent so much. Did he really think that he was stupid? No. Although this kind of injury is serious, it will take a certain amount of time to slowly recover. There's no need to spend so much hatred points. Xiaoping flatly refused. "I want to ask if there are any other healing pills that are effective in treating injuries." The system said, "Rejuvenation pill, worth 50,000 hatred points. Once taken, it can slowly heal the injuries on the body, but it will take 1 day. I don't know if the host needs it." 1 day. Hearing this, Xiaoping suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. If it only took 1 day to recover, then it would be no problem. After all, entering the cloud and Mist Mountain Range would take at least a month. At most, on the first day, he wouldn't take any risks. He would find a place to hide temporarily, recover from his injuries, and then take action. "Exchange for the rejuvenation pill," Xiaoping immediately said. With a ding, a green pill the size of a glass bead fell onto Xiaoping's palm. He swallowed the pill without hesitation. So comfortable. Xiaoping immediately felt the pill enter his stomach and was quickly refined by the true essence in his body. Those injured meridians seemed to be slowly recovering. He also felt a surge of strength pouring out of his body, no longer as weak as before. Even this unique medicinal power was very gentle, constantly nourishing the wounds on his body, quickly healing, and the circulation of true essence in his body also seemed to have the effect of recovering from injuries. According to this situation, he might not need a day to recover from the injuries in his body. Huh? What is this? Xiaoping stepped forward in exchange for the corpse disintegration water, completely destroying the corpses of Su Yunlong and the others. Even their clothes melted on the ground, so that no one could find their corpses and there was no evidence. But after their corpses disappeared, they left behind a white porcelain bottle, which was found on Su Yunlong's body. With a snap, he opened the white porcelain bottle, and his eyes suddenly lit up. "No way. This is the Wood Yuan pill?" The white porcelain bottle contained 4 or 5 green pills, exuding a strong medicinal aura, which immediately refreshed his spirit. Xiaoping knew that the Wood Yuan pill was an extremely precious pill. It used the essence of the wood, supplemented by 81 kinds of precious spiritual herbs, and after 49 days of refining, it could be successfully refined. Its value was no less than that of the mysterious Fiend pill. If one wanted to exchange for it in the school, ordinary students would have to vomit blood because they couldn't afford it. Only elite students like Su Yunlong, who were experts in the martial master realm, could obtain it, but they also had to pay a huge price. It was estimated that Su Yunlong bought it from the school in order to shorten his cultivation time. With these Wood Yuan pills, it should not be a problem to advance to the peak of the martial warrior realm. Xiaoping was very satisfied. Perhaps Su Yunlong didn't expect that the pills that he had painstakingly and paid a huge price to obtain would now belong to him. However, he couldn't take the Wood Yuan pill for the time being. He had to recover from his injuries before he could take it. Swoosh. Chapter 384. At the entrance of Yanwang University. At this time, many students were gathered at the entrance. These students were at least in the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm. There were more than 10,000 people gathered there. These were the students who planned to enter the cloud Mist Mountain Range. They all stood together in 2s and 3s, forming a small circle and chatting with each other. It's really spectacular. I didn't expect so many students to plan to enter the cloud Mist Mountain Range. This is to be expected. After all, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you miss this opportunity, there will be no more. Indeed, all the students who are strong enough are participating. It is said that some powerful freshmen, such as Su Ji, Xiao Yishuan, and so on, have reached the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm and also plan to participate. I wonder if that Xiaoping who stirred up trouble in Yinhuang University will participate. Isn't this to be expected? He would be a fool not to participate. Look, that bastard Xiaoping is here. Everyone was discussing. They soon noticed Xiaoping running from afar and soon arrived at the entrance of Yinhuang University. However, there were also some sharp-eyed students who noticed that Xiaoping's aura was a little strange. It was no longer as strong as before. Instead, it was unbelievably weak, as if he had been seriously injured. What happened? Xiaoping's aura is very weak. It is even weaker than a student who has just entered the martial artist realm. What happened to him? Some students' eyes flickered, and they were very curious. Someone next to them guessed. Could he have been beaten up? Who can beat him up? He has already defeated all the students in Yinhuang University. Unless the elite students make a move. It's very possible. This kid stirred up trouble in Yinhuang University. God knows how many people don't like him. If some elite students make a move, it is not impossible to deal with Xiaoping and teach him a lesson. But it is too embarrassing for elite students to deal with a freshman. If this gets out, I'm afraid he will be laughed at. Moreover, he doesn't seem to have any injuries on his body. It doesn't look like he was beaten up. If he wasn't beaten up, then there must be a problem when he was cultivating. He went berserk and seriously injured his body. That's a very possible reason. It's said that this kid was only a fighter 5th firmament when he entered the academy. However, he managed to advance to fighter 8th firmament in a short period of time. No matter how you look at it, he must have cultivated a demonic technique that allows him to advance rapidly. Although the school doesn't forbid students from cultivating any cultivation techniques, according to what I know, those demonic cultivation techniques that improve immensely are full of flaws. You can progress quickly in the early stages, but it's very difficult to progress in the later stages. Moreover, if you're not careful, you'll go berserk, wasting all your previous efforts. What you guys mean is that this Xiaoping might have a problem with his cultivation, causing his body to be severely injured. If that's the case, then the heavens really have eyes. I knew that this bumpkin from Yinhuang Star would progress so fast. There must be something strange about it. Maybe he practiced some evil cultivation method or took some forbidden medicine to have such achievements. Now it seems that it is indeed the case. But this is all speculation. I don't know if it's true. If Xiaoping really becomes a cripple, then there will be a good show to watch. I don't know how many people will find him to settle accounts. Especially those members of the martial arts club who were humiliated by Xiaoping. They will be the first to stand up and beat him up. Many students are talking about it, staring at Xiaoping with very unfriendly eyes. They looked up and down, seemingly wanting to know why Xiaoping's aura became so weak. If something really went wrong with Xiaoping's cultivation, then there would be a good show to watch. I finally arrived. Arriving at the school gate, Xiaoping suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. He rushed all the way here in time without any delay. Otherwise, if he was late, he might have missed the opportunity to enter the cloud and mist mountains. At this time, the spring pill in his body also played a role, constantly repairing the injuries in his body. So far, he had recovered 30% of his combat power. Although he was not as strong as he was at his peak, he had no problem dealing with ordinary martial artists at the 9th heaven layer. However, on the surface, his aura was very weak, even weaker than a student who had just entered the martial warrior realm. Xiaoping. At this time, Mu Haoren, the president of the Kendo Club, was the first to jump out. He looked at Xiaoping sinisterly and asked maliciously, "You don't look very comfortable. Did something go wrong in your cultivation? I have some healing pills with me. If you beg me, it's not that I can't sell them to you. The price is naturally fair." He wanted to take this opportunity to mock Xiaoping. "It's none of your business. Do you want to be beaten up by me again?" Xiaoping glanced at him. Hearing this, the face of Mu Haoren, the president of the Kendo Club, turned green. He couldn't help but clench his fists. He also remembered the scene of him being beaten up by Xiaoping. Although he was cured now, there was still a wound in his heart. The wound seemed to be aching, and he couldn't help but want to beat Xiaoping up. "Xiaoping, what do you mean by this? Senior Mu is concerned about you, and this is how you respond? Do you still know what is polite?" A student next to him jumped out and scolded Xiaoping. a bumpkin from Yenwang's star. It's normal for him to not know how to be polite. We can't ask too much of him. Another student looked at Xia Ping disdainfully. A student wearing glasses said insidiously, I think there must be something fishy about this kid's cultivation speed. Maybe he has cultivated some evil martial arts. In order to avoid causing a disaster in the future, we should let the school thoroughly investigate. Many students looked at Xia Ping with a sneer. They had a bad impression of Xia Ping. They were miserably beaten up by Xia Ping in the past month. Now that they saw the other party in trouble, they didn't hurry to hit him while he was down. Not convinced, Xia Ping said lightly, Do you still want to fight with me? Believe it or not, I can send all of you to the hospital with just one hand. None of you will be able to enter the Cloud and Mist Mountain range. You. Hearing these words, the surrounding students couldn't help but take a step back. Their faces were very ugly. They also clearly remembered Xia Ping's fierceness. He was a super expert who swept Yenwang University. Although he looked weak now, it was hard to say whether he had tyrannical strength. If they angered the other party, they were afraid that they wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. Enough. At this time, a middle-aged teacher stood up and stopped the conflict between Xia Ping and others. He said, This is the school's important place. No conflict is allowed. If I find anyone making a move, I will immediately deprive them of the right to enter the Cloud and Mist Mountain range. He glanced around, exuding a tyrannical aura, oppressing everyone like a mountain. Chapter 385 F. R. N. I. F. 7. G. R. plus G. Z. E. 0. HDF. W. %. After the students left, Xia Ping did not continue to pester them. He was injured, and it was not suitable for him to fight with others for the time being. He did not want to delay his recovery. Xia Ping, I feel that your body is not well. Do you want to go to the hospital? The middle-aged teacher looked at Xia Ping and said, Although the opportunity to enter the Cloud Mountains is important, your life is more important. Even if entering the Cloud Mountains and obtaining the water of life will bring great benefits, it does not mean that your future will not be bright if you do not get it. In fact, there are many students who did not enter the Cloud Mountains but became king-level powerhouses 100 years later. RHE advised Xia Ping that the Cloud Mountains were very dangerous. If he went in while injured, he would probably die. Xia Ping waved his hand and said, Teacher, don't worry. This is just a superficial phenomenon. In fact, there is nothing wrong with my body. I will recover soon. There will be no danger in the Cloud Mountains. RHE showed absolute confidence. Well, since you said so, it is not convenient for me to say anything else. Be careful. The middle-aged teacher glanced at Xia Ping. Hearing Xia Ping's firm words, he turned around and left. Rasa teacher, he was only advising Xia Ping out of obligation. Since Xia Ping had made up his mind, it was not convenient for him to say anything else. Xia Ping sat cross-legged on the ground and began to meditate. He did not pay attention to the situation around him and began to cultivate. He did not pay attention to the situation around him as the true qi in his body surged. At this moment, a group of students in the distance was also staring at Xia Ping. Mu Haoran, do you think the injuries on that kid are real or fake? Or is he just pretending? Zhu Zijian, the president of the Saber Dao Club, asked. Mu Haoran snorted and said, It is definitely real. This kind of aura cannot be faked. I think there is definitely something wrong with his body. Otherwise, he would not be so weak. It does not seem like an injury caused by a sneak attack, so I think there must be something wrong with his cultivation. RHE was 70% to 80% sure. If something really went wrong during cultivation, that would be interesting. In the past month, he bullied us badly enough. This time, when we enter the Cloud Mountain range, we must teach him a lesson. Although only experts below the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm are qualified to enter the Cloud Mist Mountain range. Once they enter the Cloud Mist Mountain range and enter this alternate dimension, there will be no such restriction. That's right. Once we enter the Cloud Mist Mountain range, all of us will be able to advance to the martial master realm and break through on the spot. At that time, our strength will increase greatly. That brat will definitely not be our match. Or, when the time comes, even if he's really pretending to be injured, I'll make it real. Our many students sneered and emitted a chilling aura, causing others to shiver. They planned to take revenge on Xia Ping after entering the Cloud Mountain range. After all, the Cloud Mist Mountains was an alternate dimension, not Yanwang University. Even if some people died in there, it was normal. It was impossible to pursue the matter. Armu Howren and the others clenched their fists tightly and gritted their teeth. They had endured for 3 years and did not advance to the Martial Master Realm just for the opportunity to enter the Cloud Mist Mountain Range. Once they entered the Cloud Mist Mountain Range, they would not need to continue suppressing their cultivation and would be able to advance to the Martial Master Realm. This was simply a matter of course. If they advanced to the Martial Master Realm, their strength would be more than 10 times stronger. It would be completely different from before. At that time, a mere Xia Ping would be just an ant. They would be able to crush him easily. Or Xia Ping, it's just a meteor. It will disappear very soon. Xiao Yishuan looked coldly at Xia Ping. This time, he had also participated in the Cloud Mist Mountain Range and paid a certain price. Or these days, he had been badly suppressed by Xia Ping. He had lost the title of first place among the freshmen, and his limelight had been completely stolen by Xia Ping. He had even been hurt by many slanderous rumors, saying that he, Xiao Yishuan, was a fake. However, he had still endured it and turned a blind eye to it. This made him even more dissatisfied with Xia Ping. If not for this bastard, he would not have suffered such treatment. Without Xia Ping, he would still be the top freshman. His future was boundless, and he would be the center of attention. So unlucky. I didn't expect to enter the Cloud Mist Mountain Range with this hooligan. Su Ji clenched her fist. Seeing Xia Ping's expression, she was so angry that her teeth itched. However, she did not say anything. She could only automatically ignore this hooligan. After all, the purpose of entering the Cloud Mist Mountain Range was to obtain the Water of Life, not to fight because of personal feelings. Okay, everyone is here. Let's board the warship. A middle-aged teacher stood up. He took out a megaphone and shouted at everyone. Boom. Immediately, a huge super warship descended from the sky. The area inside was very large. It could accommodate hundreds of thousands of people. Right now, Yanwang University only had 10,000 people. Naturally, it was more than enough. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One by one, the students walked in, found their seats, and sat down. 2 to 3 hours later, the super battleship flew past mountains after mountains. After flying for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, they encountered countless flying monsters along the way. However, these flying monsters were all shot down by the super battleship. Finally, they arrived in front of a huge mountain range. We're here. The Cloud Mist Mountain Range. Xiaoping looked out of the window and immediately saw a vast and boundless mountain range in the distance. It was majestic and magnificent. However, it was surrounded by a huge layer of fog. The fog covered the sky and seemed to have merged with the clouds in the sky. Strands of heaven and earth yuan qi fell down and intertwined with the sunlight. It was extremely mysterious. The fog seemed to contain a strange power. Even electromagnetic waves could not penetrate it. Any equipment that got close would instantly lose signal. Vaguely, the fog seemed to have isolated the outside space. Go down. A voice sounded from inside the warship. One by one, the students filed out and immediately arrived at the entrance of the Cloud Mist Mountain Range. It was a huge flatland. Even if there were 10,000 people standing there, they would still be extremely small compared to this huge land. However, at this time, many super warships appeared near this land. Many students also came out of these warships. All of them were extremely capable. What's going on? Didn't they say that only Yanhuang University can enter the Cloud Mist Mountain Range? Why are there other people here? A student looked curiously at the people in the distance. Another student said disdainfully, Don't you know? In the entire Cloud Realm, Yanhuang University is not the only university. There are also many super cities. These cities also have universities. Chapter 386. O, B, JXD, G, and underscore, N, F, dash L plus, T. Learn? Are hearing these words, Xia Ping's eyes flickered. He also knew that there were many other universities in the Cloud Realm besides Yanhuang University. After all, the Cloud Realm was so big and there were so many humans. One university alone was not enough. Although Yanhuang University was the first university on Yanhuang planet and could be called the birthplace of mankind, there were also some universities in the Cloud Realm that were rising stars. After hundreds of years of development, their scale and strength began to catch up with Yanhuang University. For example, Aries College, Black and White Academy, Tianjin University, and other universities could be compared with Yanhuang University. The quality of their students was not inferior to Yanhuang University. These schools also had enrollment plans on Yanhuang planet, but the number of students they enrolled was quite small, which also led to their lack of reputation on Yanhuang planet. However, this did not mean that these schools were not strong. Look, isn't that Xia Ping from Yanhuang University? Our students from other schools also immediately noticed the arrival of the students from Yanhuang University. Some people immediately recognized Xia Ping walking in front and immediately shouted, yes, that kid is Xia Ping from Yanhuang planet. He looks ordinary. I didn't expect him to cause such a big storm as soon as he entered the university. He was promoted to the 8th heaven of the warrior realm and beat a group of older students. This is a bit amazing. The older students of Yanhuang planet are all 9th heaven of the warrior realm. Some of them have endured for 3 years and have not been promoted to the martial master realm. They are constantly honing their martial skills and can be called invincible in the warrior realm. Some of them are even the direct descendants of the king's family, but they are not Xia Ping's opponents. Mu Haoren, president of the Kendo Club, president of the Saber Club, Zhu Zijian, and so on, which one of them is not a famous expert, but they were all beaten to the point of fleeing. That kind of situation is simply horrible. He even established a martial arts club called Pingtian Sect. In just a few days, it developed into the largest martial arts club on Yanhuang planet. His wisdom is extraordinary. What is the origin of this kid? Is a student from Yanhuang Star really so fierce? According to what I know, he isn't from a royal clan, nor does he have a royal bloodline. I don't know. It's a good opportunity to observe. What kind of abilities does this famous freshman of Yanhuang University have? The students of many schools were discussing among themselves as they looked at Xia Ping, who was coming from afar. This was the era of the internet, and the speed at which news spread was extraordinary. Although this incident seemed to only cause a big storm in Yanhuang University, it also spread to the forums of other universities and caused a huge discussion. Roan Stone raises 1,000 waves. After all, he was only a freshman, but he was able to sweep away all the seniors in Yanhuang University. He was invincible, and his combat strength was so strong that it made people's hair stand on end. He even established a martial arts club, which developed rapidly and became the #1 club in Yanhuang University. No matter which topic it was enough to make countless students curious. They want to know where this kid came from and what abilities he had to be able to suppress so many geniuses. In the distance, there were also some university teachers gathered together. They had also noticed Xia Ping's appearance. This kid is the recently famous *T stirrer of Yanhuang University. He looks very ordinary. I can't tell that he has the strength to suppress so many geniuses. A teacher's eyes flickered as he observed Xia Ping. Another teacher also nodded. He is indeed ordinary. Why is his aura so weak, as if he had just recovered from serious illness? Could it be that something went wrong in his cultivation? He could also see that there was something wrong with Xia Ping. He seemed to be seriously injured. I heard that this kid was only at the 5th heaven of the martial artist realm when he entered the school. Now, he has advanced to the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm. His cultivation speed is unbelievably fast. He might have cultivated some evil martial arts, and now something went wrong. A teacher guessed. It can't be. He actually cultivated evil martial arts? What nonsense. Although these evil martial arts progress quickly in the early stages, the later stages are full of difficulties. Advancing to the martial master realm is already the limit. This is a way to ruin one's future. Basically, there is no hope for the king realm. A teacher in white shook his head and revealed a look of pity. In order to show off in school, he actually cultivated evil martial arts? One idiot. Cultivation is not a sprint, but a marathon. The one who laughs last is the winner. What's the point of running fast for a while? A teacher in black had a disdainful look in his eyes. However, there were also teachers who disagreed. These are all just guesses. Can he defeat those geniuses by cultivating evil martial arts? Those geniuses all claimed to be invincible in the martial artist realm, but they were all defeated by this young man. What kind of evil martial arts is so powerful? In my opinion, although he is injured, his steps are firm and his martial arts foundation is solid. He is not cultivating those evil martial arts that overdraft his potential. His future is boundless. He refuted the words of the teachers beside him one by one. Forget it. It is useless to discuss these things here. Let's see what he does after entering the Cloud Mountain Range. If he dies in there, everything will be in vain. If he can obtain a large amount of water of life, even if he overdrafts his potential by cultivating evil martial arts, he can use the art of life to make up for it. It all depends on his fate in the future. An old man beside him said in a deep voice. The other teachers did not speak again. They all nodded. This old man was a person of virtue and prestige. As an expert at the peak of the grand power realm, his words were naturally very important. No one dared to ignore them. I didn't expect that I would be so famous. A lot of people know me here. It seems that I am already a celebrity. Xiaoping touched his chin and said happily. Next to him, Su Ji said angrily, "How is this famous? It is clearly notorious." She could not bear to see this bastard smug look, so she was very angry. It is better to be notorious than to be unknown. Xiaoping did not care about Su Ji's thoughts at all. For him, the more famous he was, the better, so that he could easily attract hatred. Su Ji bared her teeth and wanted to hit him. Are you Xiaoping? With a swoosh, a man in black suddenly came over. His pupils were like a poisonous snake, and his whole body exuded a gloomy and cold aura, as if the surrounding temperature had dropped by dozens of degrees, which made people could not help but shiver. Behind him were more than a dozen students, who came to Xiaoping aggressively. Yes, I am Xiaoping. Xiaoping nodded. That's good. There was a trace of coldness in the eyes of the man in black. He suddenly made a move and grabbed with his claw. Like a poisonous snake, his claw meandered in the air in a strange trajectory. The angle was tricky, and the speed was extremely fast. There was even a burst of hissing sound, which made people's hair stand on end and their hearts tremble. Chapter 387. 5+? But he also reacted in an instant. True chi circulated in his dantian, covering his whole body. He took a step forward and dodged to the side with a whoosh. Bang. Immediately, a terrifying true chi bombarded over. A rock that was half the height of a person hundreds of meters away was immediately smashed into pieces and scattered on the ground. Everyone's pupils shrunk as they were indescribably shocked. Such an attack was actually able to turn a hard rock into such a state from hundreds of meters away. One could imagine how terrifying this attack was. This man in black was definitely not an ordinary person. He was at least at the level of Muhauran. Do you only know how to dodge? Dominating the entire Yanhuang University and almost sweeping away the senior students. Such a famous expert can only dodge in the face of my attack. What a joke. The man in black laughed out loud. Is it that the level of martial arts in Yanhuang University is so low that trash like you can stand out? He stared at Xiaoping with a sneer. You sneak attacked me and you still dare talk big? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and stared at the man in black. Tell me, do you want to break one leg, 2 legs, or 3 legs? Ri's body revealed a deep murderous aura. This kid sneak attacked him and completely infuriated him. Even though he was injured now and only had 30% of his combat power left, he was not someone that a small figure could casually provoke. Are ridiculous. You want to break my leg? You should weigh your own strength first. The man in black sneered. With a bang, he took a step forward and a huge, deep pit immediately appeared on the ground. Ree's entire body was wriggling like a poisonous snake. The trajectory of his advance was curved and unpredictable. It was as if countless figures of men in black appeared on the scene. In just an instant, dozens of figures appeared, like thousands of poisonous snakes, attacking Xiaoping. They made hissing sounds and wanted to bite him until his body was covered in wounds and blood flowed like a river. Our bear-splitting palm. A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. He took a step forward and a terrifying aura rose. He raised one hand, like an ancient black bear descending. The air within a radius of 100 meters was pressed down as if falling into a swamp. The ground shook and rumbled. Pieces of gravel were crushed into powder. The mountains shook and the earth quaked. Bang! A palm slapped down from the sky, causing the air to explode. What? The black-clothed man was shocked. He felt as if his body was being pressed down by a huge mountain. Even though there were dozens of figures, they were all covered by this force. This power was incomparably vast and condensed into a tangible form. It was like the rumbling of a war drum. With a boom, his body was struck by this attack, and his entire body was slammed into the ground. The black-clothed man couldn't help but let out a shrill scream. He coughed up blood, and a huge human-shaped pit immediately appeared on the ground. He lay on the ground, unable to move, like a tortoise, and the bones in his body creaked. Xiaoping calmly looked at the man in black. How about now? You can't even take one of my palms. Who's the one who should weigh their own weight? Do you submit? F***CK, your submission. The black-clothed man's face was ferocious and flushed. He roared and struggled out of the pit, trying to fight back. He wasn't convinced at all. Not convinced? Kneel down and call me Grandpa. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. He slapped out again, and the air shook thousands of times, bombarding the black-clothed man's body. With a slap, the black-clothed man couldn't take it at all. He knelt down towards Xiaoping and couldn't help but spit out another mouthful of blood. His clothes were stained with blood. The saying goes, men should have gold under their knees. The black-clothed man was forced to kneel like this, and in front of so many people. For him, this was simply a great humiliation, and he would never be able to erase it in this life. His lungs were about to explode, and the veins on his face bulged. Originally, he only wanted to test this recently famous expert from Yenhuang University, but he didn't expect this to happen. He couldn't even take one move, and then he was beaten to this state, forced to kneel. He was extremely sullen, and now he even had the thought of killing Xiaoping. Didn't this guy defeat the famous expert Miao Zhe in the school? It is said that he is also an expert from a king family, has the bright-colored snake bloodline, and is an expert at the ninth heaven of martial artists. How tragic. Miao Zhe can be considered to be a match for an expert like Mu Haoran, but now he was beaten to this state by Xiaoping. He has lost all his face. A person's reputation is like a tree's shadow. How can Xiaoping be so famous be a small matter? Serves him right. He probably saw that there was something wrong with Xiaoping's body, so he wanted to test it out. He didn't expect to lose so much face and be forced to kneel. It's incomparably miserable. Didn't he see who Xiaoping is? He swept the entire Yenhuang University, and even the so-called invincible Mu Haoran and the others were no match for him. Miao Zhe wants to be arrogant, but he really overestimates himself. How can an expert be so easily humiliated? This Miao Zhe should learn some manners in the future. The people of Yenhuang University were discussing. Although they were also very unhappy with Xiaoping and didn't have any good impression of this kid, they were even more unhappy with the students of other universities. They felt that they were being looked down upon. Now that Xiaoping had beaten this guy up, it made them feel very happy in their hearts. The only ones whose faces were green were Mu Haoran and the others. When they heard these words, they felt very pained. Although they had lost to Xia Ping, did these bastards need to mention it all the time? Or they kept saying that it was Xia Ping who had defeated Mu Haoran, Zhu Zijian, and the others. The guy was clearly stepping on their heads to establish his reputation. What face did they have left? Or didn't this mean that the more famous this guy was, the more humiliated they would be? Or, so that's how it is. Your call, Miao Zhe. Do you admit defeat now? Xiaoping looked down at Miao Zhe. Our Miao Zhe gritted his teeth and shouted angrily, I admit defeat my ass. He was arrogant and unruly. Our Xiaoping nodded and wanted to attack again. If he was not convinced, then he would beat him until he was convinced. Our stop. Our with a bang. A punch came from afar. It was like a wolf's howl, shaking the mountain forest and attacking Xiaoping with irresistible force. The attack power of this punch was actually twice as terrifying as the black-clothed man's. Our Xiaoping sensed danger. He turned around and slapped out with his palm, colliding with the fist energy. In an instant, the power of the fist energy was disintegrated, but the aftermath of the fist energy still forced him back a few steps. Arichi squinted his eyes and saw a young man walking over from afar. He was wearing green clothes and emitted a wild aura. There was actually a crack between his brows, as if he had a third eye. It was incomparably mysterious. R. Chapter 388. Isn't that the top student of Ares College, Niezhen? I heard that he's the son of the Wolf King, Nie Wudao, and has the bloodline of the three-eyed wolf. The famous Nie family is indeed extraordinary. Even in Ares College, where there are many strong people, Niezhen still stands above everyone else. His strength is undeniable. I heard that the three-eyed wolf bloodline is extremely noble. Once the third eye is opened, it will possess all sorts of incredible power. And the Wolf King, Nie Wudao, relied on this power to become a famous king. Everyone discussed and stared at the young man walking over slowly from afar. They seemed to feel oppressed by a tyrannical, wild aura, almost suffocating. Even Mu Haoran, Zhu Zijian, Xiao Yishuan, and the rest could not help but narrow their eyes. This was an unprecedented opponent, a future king. He was definitely not someone to be trifled with. Xiaoping, you've gone too far. Niezhen stepped forward. He was 2 meters tall and had a strong body, like a young wolf king. His eyes were arrogant as he stared at Xiaoping. Miao Zhe is a student of Ares College. You actually dare to make him kneel and humiliate his dignity. Do you think there is no one in Ares College? Don't even think of leaving if you don't give an explanation. His tone was incomparably domineering and unquestionable. Too far? Xiaoping suddenly laughed. He suddenly launched a sneak attack, and his methods were ruthless. If not for my ability, I would have been seriously injured by him. Who's the one who's gone too far? He looked at Niezhen. The truth is that you weren't seriously injured, but Miao Zhe was. He was even forced to kneel and humiliated in front of everyone. You've gone too far, and you should apologize. Niezhen's tone was stern. Xiaoping laughed coldly. A robber broke into the house and tried to kill and rob. Master resisted and seriously injured the robber, and now it's the master's fault? The master shouldn't have injured him? This is simply the biggest joke in the world. You injured him, forced him to kneel, and humiliated Ares College. This is a mistake. If you don't want to admit your mistake, then I will admit it on your behalf. Niezhen's eyes were cold, like a sword in the dark night, with a threatening chill. He immediately wanted to make a move. Swoosh! In the blink of an eye, a ray of cold light slashed down from the sky, emitting a sword that could pierce through the sky. It was as if the sky was going to be split open, containing a terrifying power. Sensing this sword intent, Niezhen narrowed his eyes. He did not make a move. Instead, he stared at a white-robed young man walking over from afar with vigilance in his eyes. With a dong sound, the extremely sharp sword chi smashed into the ground, creating a 10-meter wide crater. The ground trembled hundreds of times, producing a terrifying destructive force. Who is this fellow? He actually dares to attack in front of Niezhen? Are you courting death? Some people didn't recognize this white-robed man. You don't know this person? He is the #1 expert of the Black-White Academy, Cho Wanxian. It said that he has the Golden Crane bloodline and is born with a sword body. His sword cultivation has already reached the acme of perfection, and his sword techniques are unrivaled in Deity University. Niezhen had fought with Cho Wanxian before. However, they were evenly matched several times. Many people discussed spiritedly as they recognized the true identity of the white-robed man. Cho Wanxian, you want to stop me? Niezhen frowned and stared at the white-robed man in front of him, Cho Qianwan. I'm not stopping you. I'm just warning you. The white-robed man, Cho Qianwan, said calmly, Niezhen, the Cloud Mist Mountain Range is about to open. Why do you need to fight here and cause a commotion? If there's anything, we can talk after we enter the Cloud Mist Mountain Range. Haha, Cho Qianwan, what you said is wrong. There's no need to set a venue for fighting. If you want to fight, you can fight. If you want to kill, you can kill. Seeing you guys fighting, my hands are also itching. Do you want to fight? With a boom, a figure suddenly fell from the sky, instantly creating a huge crater. Dozens of huge cracks appeared, and cracking sounds rang out. After the dust settled, a 3-meter-tall man appeared. He had a head full of red hair that seemed to be burning with flames. His huge physique was like that of a berserk lion. His muscles swelled up, emitting an extreme pressure. The surrounding students were all shocked and retreated dozens of steps. This golden-haired man's aura was even more terrifying than Niezhen's and Cho Wanxian's. He was like an overlord who ruled over millions of mountains and rivers. No one could go against his will. Tianjin University's Changbin, someone exclaimed. They also recognized the red-haired man's identity. This person was Tianjin University's #1 expert, Changbin. He had the Fire Lion's bloodline. I didn't expect that even Changbin would make a move. This guy is crazy. He's addicted to fighting. This is bad. If even Changbin makes a move, things will definitely get out of hand. He won't stop until a few people are seriously injured. I heard that in Tianjin University, this guy is also a troublemaker. He sent hundreds of students to the hospital the moment he entered the school. They had to lie in bed for a whole week before they recovered and were discharged. His Fire Lion's bloodline is extremely violent. Once he gets angry, even 10 monsters can't hold him back. He's definitely a ticking time bomb. No one dares to provoke him. Many students revealed expressions of fear. They had all heard about Changbin. He was also a troublemaker in Tianjin University, who knew how much trouble he had caused. If he wasn't a descendant of the Chang family, he would have been killed by someone. Some students' faces turned green. Yenwang University's Xia Ping, Tianjin University's Changbin, Black and White College's Cho Wanxian, and Aries College's Niezhen. The #1 experts of the 4 big schools had all appeared. This was clearly a fierce battle. In the distance, some university teachers were also observing the situation here. However, they were unmoved. They seemed to want to see the direct descendants of these students and had no intention of stopping them. Seeing Cho Wanxian and Changbin appear, Niezhen narrowed his eyes. He looked at Xiaoping and said, "Consider yourself lucky. With these two here, don't let me see you next time. Otherwise, I'll definitely take your life." His tone was murderous. "There's no need for next time. If you have the ability, come and bite me now," Xiaoping said disdainfully. He directly provoked him. Although he was injured now, he was not afraid of anything. Niezhen clenched his fists, but then loosened them. He did not say anything. He went forward, rescued Miao Zhe, and turned to leave. Cho Wanxian stood at the side with an indifferent expression. It was as if nothing could shake his mind. "Kid, I heard that you're very strong. Do you want to fight?" Changbin's eyes lit up as he stared at Xiaoping. However, at this moment, before Xiaoping could speak, the entire Cloud Mist Mountain Range began to shake. Countless clouds were trembling, as if a giant dragon was turning over. "The Cloud Mist Mountain Range has opened," a student immediately exclaimed. Chapter 389. Rumble. At this moment, countless clouds trembled. In a few breaths' time, a huge door appeared in the Cloud Mountain Range. It was deep inside and exuded a mysterious aura. No one knew where it led to. "The Cloud Mountain Range is open. Go in quickly." A teacher shouted. "This passageway can last for a month." That means you can stay in the Cloud Mountain range for a month. However, the door will disappear after a month. You must hurry up, otherwise, you will never be able to come out again. Hearing this, the surrounding students immediately moved. They rushed towards the door. However, the door was huge and could accommodate hundreds of people at one time. It was not crowded. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Nie Zhen and the others did not hesitate and immediately rushed towards the door. After all, time waited for no man. The earlier they entered, the greater the advantage they had. Xiaoping also moved and followed the crowd through the door. Once he entered the door, Xiaoping immediately discovered that a long tunnel appeared in front of him. The ground seemed to be paved with white jade. There were dense inscriptions carved on it, containing an incredible power. The moment he entered the door, an inexplicable power descended and immediately understood all the secrets of his body. It was as if it was probing his martial arts realm. However, this feeling was fleeting. If not for Xiaoping's strong mental strength, he would not have felt it. So that's how it is. No wonder martial mentor realm experts are unable to enter. If this mysterious force is here, experts above the martial mentor realm will be killed instantly. Xiaoping's eyes flickered. He could feel the mysterious power. No martial artist would be able to resist this power. It was a power that was close to the rules. However, he did not investigate where this power came from. The most important thing now was to enter the Cloud Mountain range. He quickly ran towards the tunnel. After running for 10 kilometers, he finally left the tunnel. I'm out. This is the Cloud Mountain range, a student said happily. He had finally left the tunnel. What's going on? Why is the Cloud Mountain range like this? Someone was dumbfounded as he looked at the scene in front of him. This area was filled with dense, demonic chi. The ground was covered in pitch-black soil. In the distance, there was a swamp with rolling poisonous gas. Huge black trees grew in the surroundings, forming a dense black forest. White skeletons lay on the ground, appearing deep and terrifying. Many students were shocked as well. From the outside, the Cloud Mist Mountain range should be no different from an ordinary mountain range. It should be lush and lush, with countless trees growing on top of each other. But now this mountain range was simply a demonic domain. The atmosphere was even colder than the Yin Corpse mountain range. Why is it like this? Didn't any of you receive the information? The Cloud Mist mountain range itself is a demonic domain, a student said in a deep voice. He already knew a lot about the Cloud Mist mountain range. Demon domain. Xiaoping's eyes twinkled. He knew less than these students who were born and raised in the Cloud realm. Fortunately, this information was not top secret, and many people knew about it. Someone asked, why is this a demonic domain? If this is the infernal domain, why would the water of life be here? You should know what kind of treasure the water of life is. It is a secret treasure with extreme yang energy. It is said to be the nemesis of Yin attribute creatures. It is holy water. A student clenched his fist and said, legend has it that the water of life was extracted from an alternate space by an ancient almighty and placed in the Cloud Mist Mountain range to suppress an ancient demon. It can be said that the Cloud Mist Mountain range is an alternate space to seal an ancient demon. What? Many students were shocked. It was the first time for many of them to hear this news. They did not expect this to be an alternate space to seal an ancient demon. And the water of life was a sacred item prepared to suppress the ancient demon. I heard about this too. Another student nodded and said, it is said that the water of life is in the center of the Cloud Mist Mountain range. A huge sealing altar was built there to suppress an ancient demon. And the water of life is in the center of the altar, forming a huge lake. However, the center of the Cloud Mist Mountain range is very strange. There seems to be a huge space fold. It is simply a space maze. It is extremely vast, and it is not easy to reach the center. Not to mention that we only have 1 month. Once a month passes, the space door will be completely closed, and we will only have a chance to leave after 3 or 4 years. He also said what he knew. Why must we go out? If there is water of life here, then we can stay in the Cloud Mist Mountain range and cultivate in seclusion for 4 years to absorb the energy of the water of life. When that time comes, it will definitely be faster than cultivating in the outside world. Someone wanted to cultivate in the cloud, mist mountain range for a few years. Someone sneered and said, if this could be done, people would have done it long ago. Unfortunately, once the gate of the cloud, mist mountain range is closed, the entire mountain range will be filled with a poisonous fog. Even a king realm expert will die a horrible death if he breathes in this poisonous fog. Previously, some students tried to play tricks and deliberately stayed in the cloud mist mountain range. However, the next time the gate opens, they will only be a pile of bones. This is a lesson learned in blood. We must learn from it. He looked disdainfully at the student who had tried to play tricks. The others also had a lingering fear in their hearts. In fact, they also wanted to play tricks like this. After all, after leaving the cloud mist mountain range, there might not be such good treasures in other places. Even if there were good treasures, they would be taken by the king realm experts. Only the cloud mist mountain range, which prohibited king realm experts from entering, would have a chance to obtain treasures. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. He sensed a trace of a dangerous aura and looked into the distance. Rumble. At this moment, a loud rumbling sound came from afar. It covered the sky and covered the earth like a tide. Then, a humanoid monster appeared in front of everyone. These monsters had horns on their heads, wings on their backs, hands and feet, and looked like humans. Their skin was completely red, and they held steel spears in their hands. They flew over from afar at an extremely fast speed. Stupid humans actually dare to enter the cloud mist mountain range. They don't even know how they will die. Little ones, devour the flesh and blood of these humans. Today, we will have a delicious meal, a monster shouted loudly. The sound of killing filled the air, and the demonic aura soared into the sky. Hearing these words, these monsters all shouted loudly. Their mouths emitted a sharp sound that was deafening and formed visible ripples in the air. Oh no, these are bat demons, monsters of the cloud mist mountain range. Chapter 390. Bang, bang, bang. As soon as these bat demons appeared, they immediately engaged in close combat with the students. The air vibrated in midair like the roar of cannonballs, and an intense battle broke out. Foolish human, obediently die for us. The only value of humans is food. You are only worthy of being our food. Do you understand? I've been hungry and thirsty for a long time. Kill these humans, kill them with all your might. The bat demons roared loudly, causing the air to tremble and creating a terrifying destructive power. Cracks appeared on the ground as the ground trembled to the extreme. They relied on their large numbers, numbering in the tens of thousands, to surround and kill the students. Damned bat demon, you dare to attack us with just you? You're courting death. A student shouted angrily. The aura on his body rose and immediately became 10 times more tyrannical. With a pa sound, Xiao Chun actually advanced to the martial master realm in an instant. He comprehended the power of quintessence. His strength was more than 10 times stronger than before. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, it was not only this student. Hundreds of students released their auras and finally broke through to the martial master realm at this moment. They had been in the 9th heaven of the martial warrior realm for a very long time. They had only suppressed their cultivation in order to obtain the opportunity to enter the cloud mist mountain range. However, after entering the cloud mist mountain range, they no longer needed to suppress their true chi. All of them released their true chi and absorbed a large amount of heaven and earth yuan chi to break through to the martial master realm. One could imagine that the aura of hundreds of martial masters at the same time was simply earth-shattering. It was as though even the sky was trembling. The bat demons in the sky could not withstand this aura and were all severely injured. They fell from the sky and smashed into minced meat. It was a tragic sight. Furthermore, this was just the beginning. In just a few breaths of time, there were already more than 1,000 students who had broken through to the martial master realm. Furthermore, the number was still increasing rapidly. It would not be long before thousands of martial minor realm experts appeared. When the bat demons saw this scene, their faces turned green. Initially, they thought that these humans were just food. With the strength of a martial artist, it would be easy for them to kill them. But who would have thought that these humans would break through their bottlenecks one by one, evolving from sheep to lions? It was a terrifying mess. Kill them now. We absolutely cannot let these damned humans break through. The bat demons began to go crazy. They desperately wanted to stop these humans from breaking through. Otherwise, they would all be killed by these humans. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Immediately, more than a dozen terrifying bat demons with the strength of the ninth heaven of the martial artist realm surrounded Xiaoping. They flew through the air and tried to stab Xiaoping to death with the spears in their hands. Courting death, Xiaoping's eyes revealed a cold light. He revolved the true essence within his body and let out a roar. Heavenly dragons, 8 notes. Woo, croak, pa, well, bang, ah, bang, bang. At this moment, the power of the 8 syllables burst out. Moreover, this was the power of the spiritual ether, which was completely different from the spiritual qi. The power of the 8 syllables seemed to have solidified. In midair, the originally transparent sound waves were now vaguely materializing. It was as if the human eye could see the 8 syllables of the heavenly dragon's music. This kind of power was many times more tyrannical than before. It already had the embryonic form of a heavenly dragon's roar. This kind of power was enough to kill any ferocious beast. Bang! Bang! Immediately, more than a dozen bat demons were attacked by the sound waves. Their entire bodies were shaken hundreds of times by the power, as if their lungs had suffered thousands of attacks. In just a few breaths, they were bleeding from their 7 orifices and were instantly killed. Their huge bodies fell from the sky and smashed hard on the ground, creating a deep pit. Soil splashed everywhere. What? When the other bat demons saw this, they were all scared half to death. They instinctively felt that this human strength was terrifying. With just a roar, the sound waves shook and killed more than a dozen of their companions. It was too terrifying. In an instant, they flew to other places, wanting to deal with other weak humans. Oh no, the speed at which the true essence is being consumed is too fast. I can't fight with these bat demons here for too long. Xiaoping suddenly frowned. He felt that the true essence in his body was being consumed rapidly. He was originally injured and had not yet recovered. Now he was fighting with Miao Zhe and the others and fighting with the bat demons. If this continued, he would be at the mercy of others when the true essence in his body was exhausted. I have to find a place to hide and recover from my injuries. Xiaoping's eyes flickered. He no longer wanted to fight with these bat demons. Even if he won, there would not be many benefits. It was better to wait until his injuries were healed. Kuan Peng steps. Thinking of this, he immediately used Kuan Peng steps and operated the power of the true essence in his body. At this moment, some dense, mysterious lines appeared on his back, and a pair of solid wings grew out. They were no longer transparent and illusory like before. This pair of wings was just like the wings of a Kuan Peng. It had the power to control the airflow. With a gentle flap, he moved forward like a supersonic plane. At this moment, Xiaoping felt that his body seemed to have integrated with the airflow. The surrounding air was no longer an obstacle to him, but a driving force for him. Even his mental strength was integrated with the surroundings, and he could grasp the mystery of every inch of the air. Yes, this is the feeling. As he operated the power of the true essence, Xiaoping felt that he seemed to have a deeper understanding of the secret skill of Kuan Peng steps. This king-level secret skill was not that simple. Only when one reached the martial master realm would he be able to display its true power. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, his whole body seemed to have turned into a Kuan Peng. He could control the airflow at will. Front, back, left, and right, he was extremely fast. He flew forward like a phantom. So fast. How can this guy be so fast? What kind of skill is he practicing? The students next to him also noticed Xiaoping's movements and were immediately shocked. They saw Xiaoping flying like a big bird, even faster than the bat demons. Moreover, there were countless enemies around him, but none of them could get close to him. Even their attacks were directed to other places, unable to hurt Xiaoping at all. The bat demons were shocked and angry, but there was nothing they could do. They could only watch Xiaoping leave quickly. In a few breaths, Xiaoping left the battlefield and ran toward the mountains in the distance. He escaped. Chapter 391. Damn it, he actually ran away. Miaoze clenched his fists and looked at Xiaoping's disappearing figure with reluctance. He had originally wanted to find Xiaoping for revenge after he advanced to the martial master realm. However, he did not expect that the brat would escape. Once they were separated in the cloud mist mountains, it would not be so easy to find the brat for revenge. Don't worry, he can't escape. Niezhen's eyes flashed coldly. No matter what, he will always want the water of life, so he will definitely go to the center of the cloud mist mountains. When that time comes, you can find him to settle the score. There was a hint of killing intent in his tone. He found Xiaoping to be an eyesore. Xiaoping actually dared to boast shamelessly to him in front of so many people. If he didn't teach him a lesson, others would really think that he, Niezhen, was a pushover that could be pinched at will. Brother Nye, when the time comes, I hope that you can also kill that brat. That bastard actually dared to force me, Miaoze, to kneel in front of so many people. This is a great humiliation. If I don't kill that brat, I will not be able to vent my anger. Miaoze gritted his teeth, his hatred overflowing. Who was Miaoze? He was a descendant of the Miao family, a ninth heaven of the martial warrior realm expert, and a famous figure in Ares College. Ever since he was young, he had always been a proud and arrogant person. Other than Niezhen, no one could make him submit. One could imagine how proud he was, but he had been treated like a dog by Xiaoping. He had even been forced to kneel in front of Xiaoping. He had never experienced such humiliation before. This was the first time. Don't worry. Humiliating you is equivalent to humiliating Ares College. It is equivalent to slapping my face. He will definitely die, Niezhen said calmly. He was like a high and mighty king who could decide the life and death of his subordinates. Hearing this, Miaoze was immediately very satisfied. With Niezhen, no matter how strong this brat was, he would definitely die. There was no chance of him surviving. Furthermore, this fellow was only at the 8th heaven of the martial warrior realm. It was impossible for him to advance to the martial master realm in a short period of time. However, Miaoze was different from Niezhen. He had already reached the peak of the 9th heaven of the martial warrior realm and could advance to the martial master realm at any time. Once he broke through to the martial master realm, Xiaoping would be nothing more than an ant. Just you wait. The next time you appear in front of me will be the day you die. Miaoze gritted his teeth. These words were practically spat out from his teeth, containing a monstrous hatred. At this time, Xiaoping used the Kuan-Peng steps and entered deep into the misty mountain range, shaking off the pursuit of countless bat demons. Along the way, he passed through many mountains and finally found a hidden cave. This cave was surrounded by mountains and rocks. The location was remote, and there were no demons around. It was a good place for seclusion, and there was no need to worry about others disturbing him. Therefore, he immediately decided to cultivate in seclusion in this cave to recover from his injuries. Whoosh! Xiaoping entered the cave and blocked the entrance with a rock. Then, he casually sat cross-legged on the ground. Wood elemental pill. He took out a bottle from his body. These pills were all obtained from Su Yunlaw. Previously, he had not had the chance to use them because he had been busy heading to the cloud mist mountain range. Now, the opportunity had finally come. According to the information he had found, these wood elemental pills not only had a strong medicinal effect, but they could also heal injuries containing the essence of wood. Once consumed, the injuries on one's body would recover rapidly. Hualala, Xiaoping immediately swallowed a wood elemental pill. At the same time, he activated the pure Yang immortal art. Immediately, the image of a sun furnace appeared in the depths of his dantian. Immediately, the wood elemental pill entered the depths of his dantian and was instantly burned by a dark red flame. It was quickly refined, and then turned into strands of green medicinal qi, entering his meridians. So comfortable. Xiaoping could not help but moan. The green medicinal qi contained the energy of life. It flowed into every part of his body. His injured meridians, lungs, muscles, bones, and other parts of his body rapidly healed. The green energy was full of vitality, as if a tree was growing in his body. Combined with the medicinal qi of the youth returning pill, his injuries rapidly healed. At the same time, the true qi in his body was also growing rapidly, filling up his ninth acupoint, strengthening his true qi. How powerful! I actually managed to refine a wood elemental pill in such a short period of time. Is this the might of the pure, yang, immortal art? Xiaoping clenched his fists tightly. He could feel that the sun furnace in the depths of his dantian had become even clearer. He knew that the sun furnace was a qigong phenomenon formed when the pure yang immortal art was cultivated to a certain level. All sorts of unfathomable abilities would appear. Once the sun furnace was completely formed, as long as Xiaoping swallowed any pills or spirit herbs, he would be able to instantly refine them, cleansing the impurities in his body. One must know that if one consumed too many pills or spirit herbs, impurities will be left behind in the body, affecting the body and leaving behind some shackles. This would make it even harder to break through. Many cultivators had consumed too many pills and were stuck at the peak of the martial master realm or the peak of the grandmaster realm, unable to break through in their entire lives. But with this sun furnace, it was like having an 8 trigrams cauldron in one's body. It was able to filter out all sorts of impurities from pills and spirit herbs, obtaining the greatest benefits. I'll continue to consume them, swallow them all. Xiaoping swallowed the remaining 3 to 4 wood elemental pills as he circulated the pure yang immortal art. The sun furnace in the depths of his dantian appeared as a large amount of heaven and earth fire gushed out. The dark red flames burned ferociously, producing a terrifying temperature. After swallowing the 3 to 4 wood elemental pills, traces of green medicinal qi were instantly refined into his body, infusing it into his limbs and bones. The injuries on his body were also recovering rapidly as the true qi in his body increased rapidly. These wood elemental pills were extremely precious pills that were not inferior to the profounding pill. Even for a powerful martial master like Su Yunlong, he would have to pay a hefty price to obtain them. But now that Xiaoping had obtained them, it was sufficient to save him several years of cultivation time. Just like that, he cultivated for 3 days and 3 nights. Xiaoping stayed in the cave and cultivated bitterly. Because of the battle with Su Yunlong, the injuries he had sustained had already been completely healed after 3 days. Maybe this was a blessing in disguise. After recovering from these injuries, the strength of his body was even stronger than before, increasing by at least 50%. Even the true qi in his body increased rapidly. He had already reached the peak of the 9th layer of the martial disciple realm. The true qi in his 9th acupoint was rapidly filled up, and his strength and mental energy were both greatly enhanced. Even his true qi was growing rapidly. Right now, Xiaoping could execute 40 martial master level attacks. Chapter 392. Bang! Xiaoping punched out, and a huge boulder blocking the entrance of the cave was instantly smashed into pieces. The shock wave spread out in all directions, causing the ground to tremble. Ooh! He drew in a deep breath and sensed the fresh air outside. His mental energy permeated the surroundings, and at this moment, he felt that his comprehension of heaven and earth had deepened. It was as though there was only a thin barrier in front of him. As long as he broke through it, he would be able to step into the martial master realm and comprehend the mysteries of true energy. Once he broke through to the martial master realm, he would be able to be called a martial grandmaster. Just a little bit more. Xiaoping circulated the pure yang immortal art in his body. His true energy flowed around his meridians like a flood dragon, causing rumbling sounds as though there was a huge dragon roaring in the air. The true energy in his dantian entered the solar furnace and was instantly converted into true energy, turning into a dark red liquid that resembled lava. This power allowed him to exert great power with every move he made. It could be said that the current him was completely capable of fighting against 3 of his previous selves. It's already been 3 days. It's time to head to the center of the Cloud Mist mountain range and obtain the water of life. Xiaoping clenched his fists. This was the supreme treasure of the Cloud Mist mountain range. He definitely wouldn't miss it. But just as he was about to take a few steps forward, he suddenly raised his head and saw a large group of red clouds floating in the air, emitting a towering demonic chi. And that red cloud was actually a large group of bat demons. There were at least 100 of them. Human? There's a lone human here. A bat demon immediately noticed Xiaoping's location and let out a shrill voice that caused one's feet to go numb. Haha, this is great. Even the heavens are helping me. He's alone in this place. It's hard for him to not die. These humans have caused us so much trouble these few days. Who knows how many of our brothers they've killed. Now, we finally have a chance to kill a human and take revenge for our fallen brothers. I'm definitely going to eat his flesh raw. No one can stop me. Kill him immediately. The large group of bat demons roared in anger. They flapped their wings and rushed over, wanting to kill Xiaoping and eat his flesh raw. They didn't even want to waste words with him. Humans and demons were natural enemies. It was impossible for them to coexist peacefully. You want to kill me? You overestimate yourself. A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. The real elemental energy in the depths of his dantian boiled like lava. His body immediately erupted with a terrifying aura, crushing towards these bat demons. Immovable Buddha palm. He took a step forward and struck out with his palm. Immediately, a deafening sound of Sanskrit rang out in the void, as if countless Buddhas were chanting in the depths of the dimension. A golden hand that seemed to be made of gold slapped out from the void. However, this Buddha's hand was completely different from before. It was surrounded by dark red flames, as if it carried the Buddha's anger. This kind of flame contained the energy of extreme yang. It could burn and purify everything. It was the flame of Buddha that could cleanse the world of impurities and demons. Bang, bang, bang. The palm strike shook the heavens and the earth. Its power was more than 10 times stronger than before. It ruthlessly bombarded the group of bat demons in the air from hundreds of meters away. Immediately, the sky burst into flames, instantly burning the group of bat demons. The huge force surged like a raging tide with infinite power. The group of bat demons immediately let out shrill screams, more miserable than the sound of pigs being slaughtered. Their bodies were touched by the flames, and suddenly, their whole bodies were burning. The demon chi in their bodies was like gasoline, burning in an instant. Their meridians, blood, and bones were all covered by this dark red flame. Damn it! How can this human be so abnormal? What kind of flame is this? Why can't we get rid of it? Save us! Save us! Human grandpa, don't kill us. Please spare our lives. Damn human, if you dare to kill us, I will not let you go even if I become a ghost. Every day, I will hang myself on your bed, and at night, I will stare at you. Stare at you. No, I can't die like this. I still want to become a great demon. A great demon. Hundreds of bat demons were shrouded in flames. They struggled desperately, roared, and used all means to try to get rid of this terrible flame, hoping to extinguish it. But no matter how they struggled, how they wailed, they could not get rid of the burning flame. Instead, the more they struggled, the more they used the demon chi, the more they would be burned. In just a few breaths, hundreds of bat demons fell to the ground, burned into charcoal, black, and smashed into the ground, creating deep pits and banging sounds. Too powerful. This is the embryonic form of the sun's real fire. Xiaoping was also shocked by his own palm strike. He did not expect that one palm strike could kill hundreds of bat demons. This was not because his palm force was so strong, but because there was a trace of the sun's real fire in his body. Such power was simply the strongest nemesis of demons. Although this was not the real power of the sun's real fire, but some superficial power, in time, his cultivation would improve, and he would be able to completely control the power of the sun's real fire. At that time, with a single palm strike, everything within a 1,000-li radius would be turned into a sea of fire, and the forest would instantly turn into barren desert. It was rumored that when the Taishang Laojuan's 8 trigrams furnace dropped a trace of flames, it formed a blazing mountain. For tens of millions of years, it was covered in flames, completely changing the entire region, changing the heavens and earth. If he cultivated the pure, yang immortal art to the highest realm, he might be able to achieve the same might. These are demonic cores. Xiaoping took a step forward and immediately saw the charred bat demons beside them. With a gust of wind, dust billowed, revealing hundreds of black demonic cores. These demonic cores were the essence of the bat demons and contained a large amount of energy. However, although they contained a large amount of energy, they also contained the aura of demons and devils. If ordinary cultivators consumed them rashly, they would most likely be demonized by this trace of demonic qi. This was considered a poisonous substance. Unless it was processed by an alchemy grandmaster, the demonic qi would be completely cleansed. Only then would one be able to consume it, devour it, and there would be no risk of demonization. Good stuff. However, Xiaoping's eyes brightened. Although to ordinary cultivators, they had to be purified by an alchemy grandmaster before they could devour these demonic cores, a sun furnace appeared on his body. Once his sun furnace was completely formed, even if he devoured these demonic cores, he would be able to instantly purify the demonic qi and wouldn't be harmed at all. The benefits were boundless. Chapter 393. At this moment, 7 or 8 people were running quickly in the mountain range. They were searching the cloud, mist mountains for various treasures and benefits. The person in the lead was Miao Zhe. He didn't go to the center of the cloud, mist mountains immediately. Instead, he chose to search for various spiritual herbs nearby. He wanted to plunder all the spiritual herbs in this place before entering the cloud, mist mountains to snatch the water of life. After all, it was very difficult to obtain the water of life. If they didn't get it within the stipulated time, then their trip to the cloud mist mountains would be a waste. Therefore, they wanted to plunder some spiritual herbs in the cloud mist mountains as compensation. Even if they didn't get the water of life, it wouldn't be a wasted trip. Brother Miao, look, isn't that Xiaoping? Suddenly, a student with sharp eyes instantly discovered Xiaoping, who was 3 to 4 kilometers away. He cultivated the eagle eye technique. Even from 10 kilometers away, he could see the enemy's tracks. It was very sharp and was no different from a real eagle. What? It's Xiaoping. Hearing this, Miao Zhe immediately became excited. In fact, one of the reasons he chose to plunder spiritual herbs was to find Xiaoping for revenge. However, after searching for 3 whole days, he couldn't find any trace of Xiaoping. Now, he finally found him. This was simply great luck. That's right, it's that damn B****starred. Miao Zhe also stared into the distance. He could vaguely see Xiaoping's figure. Instantly, his heart filled with hatred, and he couldn't help but clench his fists. At this moment, he also remembered the great humiliation he suffered outside the cloud mist mountains. This kind of anger couldn't be suppressed at all. New hatred and old hatred surged up together. Brother Miao, what do we do now? A student couldn't help but ask. Miao Zhe's expression was incomparably fierce. What else can we do? Kill him. His tone was resolute, and there was no room for doubt. Yes. The other 7 students also nodded without hesitation. They had done things like killing countless times and were very familiar with it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just as Xiaoping collected the demon cores and was about to leave, suddenly, 5 or 6 black spears were thrown from afar. They tore through the air at an extremely fast speed, surpassing the speed of sound. In an instant, they arrived in front of Xiaoping, wanting to pierce through his body. Whoosh! Xiaoping instinctively reacted and immediately used the Kuan Peng steps. A pair of wings condensed from quintessential essence appeared on his back. With a gentle flap, he instantly flew hundreds of meters away from his original position. Bang, bang, bang. The black spears fiercely stabbed into the ground, instantly creating 5 to 6 huge craters. Soil flew everywhere, and the earth trembled. More than a dozen densely packed cracks appeared, extending for hundreds of meters. One could totally imagine how terrifying the power of these spears was. If Xiaoping had not dodged in time, he would have been pierced by these spears and died without a burial. Miao Ze! Xiaoping raised his head and looked into the distance. He immediately saw 7 or 8 students leaping from afar and arriving in front of him in a few breaths. They exuded a strong aura, and all of them were experts in the first heaven of the martial mentor realm. The person in the lead was Miao Ze. What a lucky bastard. He's actually still alive. Miao Ze was very unhappy. He had originally wanted to launch a sneak attack and kill him. However, he did not expect that the other party would still be able to dodge at the crucial moment and escape with his life. You actually want to launch a sneak attack and assassinate me? Do you know that this is a serious crime? If I report this to the school, all of you will not be able to bear the consequences. You will all be in jail for the rest of your lives. Do you understand? Xiaoping stared at this group of people with a murderous look in his eyes. If he did not have the strength to dodge in time, he was afraid that the spears would have pierced through his body. This was a crime of murder. A trace of anger surged in his heart. This group of people was too unscrupulous. A serious crime? Miao Ze seemed to have heard the funniest joke in the world. He laughed wildly and said, "Don't you know? In the cloud mist mountains, it is a place outside the law. It is a trial ground. Even the federal government can't interfere here. In other words, no matter what happens here, no one is guilty of killing anyone. After you leave, no one is allowed to pursue what happened here. Moreover, before entering the cloud mist mountains, we all sign a life and death contract. Don't tell me you don't know about this." He stared at Xiaoping with a murderous look. "Brother Miao, why are you talking nonsense with this kid? Just kill him immediately. How dare he bully Brother Miao? That is equivalent to bullying Ares College and humiliating us. This is a crime punishable by death. Brother Niezhun said long ago that when we see Xiaoping, there is no need to show mercy. Kill him without mercy." 6 or 7 Ares College students stared at Xiaoping fiercely. Their bodies emitted a terrifying, murderous aura. They had all received orders from Niezhun to kill Xiaoping. Although Xiaoping had shown some strength previously, that was in the past. After entering the cloud mist mountains, all of them had advanced to the martial master realm. Their strength was more than 10 times stronger than before. It was not something that Xiaoping could compare to. Although Xiaoping might surpass them in the future, at this moment, they were stronger than Xiaoping. Moreover, they would not give Xiaoping the chance to grow. They had to kill this scourge. Kill. Miao Ze laughed coldly. He no longer wanted to talk nonsense with Xiaoping. He attacked with all his strength. At this moment, he had also advanced to the martial master realm. His whole body was filled with the power of spiritual yuan. Whoosh! In an instant, a large amount of black aura surged out of his pores. It was like a black fog that filled the sky. Along the way, the weeds on the ground withered. Even the soil turned into a black swamp that contained an extremely toxic poison. After advancing to the martial master realm, Miao Ze's multicolored snake bloodline had been completely activated. His blood contained the multicolored snake's venom. Even his spiritual yuan carried poisonous gas. With every move, he could explode with terrifying power. If an ordinary martial artist breathed in this poisonous gas, they would immediately die in less than 3 seconds. With this kind of power, he was invincible in the cloud, mist mountain range, and killed countless fiendish demons. "You are courting death." Xiaoping's eyes flashed with a cold light. He took a step forward and punched the air. A huge flaming fist blasted out, and the surrounding air was pushed away in all directions. This punch was powerful and heavy. It was like the roar of a bear. The terrifying flames burned the poisonous gas clean in an instant. It was completely purified. It could not even get within 3 meters of Xiaoping. Dong! With a punch in the air, the terrifying fist force landed solidly on Miao Ze's head. In an instant, Miao Ze's entire body was sent flying like a ball.